Hi, everybody. Welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 125. We're back down in the now, 25% more blue room?
Is that how that works?
I don't know. I don't know if the percentage is right, but for somehow I know we don't do videos, so this is a great start to this podcast. We might sometime, though, buddy. You're not in. I find it ironic that I'm more willing to do video than you are. You being
I don't like to see myself.
the teenage boy. You don't have to watch it. I don't know if it would matter. I'm just gonna at some point start tinkering.
I don't
with
like
video.
presenting myself in any capacity.
That is true. You do like to be under the radar.
As the person who doesn't even share his name.
But yes, that's true too. But in this tiny little, I don't know, this thing's like 80 square foot studio, maybe smaller. It's tiny. For some reason, all of the LEDs I have gotten into blue mode, right? So I don't know. I like the blue.
Right. Yes.
I like the blue. Just bright enough to see,
Mm-hmm.
but it looks kind of cool. But anyways, I don't know. That's what I started talking about for some reason. But we're back down in the basement. I'm hosting. It's Jack, my son. Over there, we're going to talk about a week's worth of wrestling that we watched He actually watched Impact with me, the vast majority.
The better half.
Yeah, so he'll be contributing in our Highspots and Restholds. We'll talk about Dynamite in depth as we do, some trivia. We're going to preview the two shows that are on later today, right? We're going to have to prioritize, although your brother has basketball.
I'm working.
Oh, and you're working. So it'll probably be tomorrow. So it's Ring of Honor, Final Battle, which is apparently the last pay-per-view before Tony Khan's going to discuss the plans for TV, I think, after that. So that's interesting.
Yes.
So that show has 10 matches. We'll preview that. And then sort of at the other end.
I think 3 are pre-show, though, so at least it's not like 10 main card.
And then the flip side of that kind of is NXT, which is doing Deadline, only has, 5 matches?
Maybe.
Something like that. But that's because those two I forget.
Iron Survivor.
Thank you. Those matches will be at least half an hour each, right? So
yes.
I guess that's the point.
Oh yeah, technically, yeah.
Right. So I don't know what's new. You had some buddies over last night to get out of the cold, hanging out here for a bit.
Yeah. My throat was weird this week, but I didn't get sick.
Nice. And your voice sounded a bit strange this morning, but seems to have
fixed itself, which is good because it was irritating me.
It was only subtly different, but you were definitely noticing. And
I just didn't want it because COVID caused my current voice, so I don't really want another shift.
COVID and puberty, I would suggest, caused your current voice. Oh yeah, and I'm also I'm a proud grandfather, right? To
stupid little egg.
To an egg. Here. The classic assignment where he has
should probably be here, but it's not.
It's honestly like a comedy sitcom trope.
It feels like it's a movie trope. Like I don't know.
So he has an egg that he has to carry around for a week, is it?
Yeah.
Or have it looked after when you're at work and stuff. You're supposed to get babysitters and whatnot. So
yeah, first day I screwed it up, but I'm not gonna mention that.
So some of the older kids, they end up with the actual robot babies.
I know they're weird, and I want to drop them on their heads.
It's kind of strange to see.
Yeah, they're there.
Students walking around with these plastic babies. But
It
happens. And then, I don't know, independent wrestling-wise, we're discussing maybe checking out GCW, not that GCW.
Well, they're going to be here in March, so maybe
Great
check
Canadian.
That out.
Yeah. There was also one I was going to show you. It was Greektown Wrestling that's happening down on the Danforth. It had, a bunch of Impact people and...
Yeah, they look like to be a little, kind of around Smash level.
Right. So it was... Yeah, and even I can just tell by the ticket prices, because Great Canadian is, super affordable. It's more on par with Super Kick. They have a show too, so lots of indie stuff over the break. But I think we'll probably go to the Great Canadian one, right? We've
usually
sort of become fans of theirs. It's just really, really small, independent,
convenient,
and it's fun, pretty convenient around us.
Yeah.
And other than that, we're just kind of waiting to be off work and school for a couple of weeks coming up, right?
Yes.
No major plans for that, but just you'll work a bunch probably, and I won't. Sounds perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Excited about that. Did you book any time off?
Yes.
You did? Okay, cool. I don't know. Is there anything else you wanted to discuss?
I got the Lego game for free.
And you were watching a trailer for the video game you're super pumped about?
Survivor.
Right. So there was
Fallen Order 2.
A trailer that looked cool.
Yeah, it's up for pre-order on GameStop, so I'm gonna check later how much money I have.
And honestly, I didn't know.
Pre-order it now.
I know you were like, oh, I love the first game, but I was having trouble picturing it until you showed me the trailer with the little robot on his back. That's like, oh, that one. Yeah. So that's a smart little thing, because that's 100% how I recognize, and I know you did enjoy that game when you were playing it.
I've beaten it like a million times.
Right. So
It's fantastic. It looks great. So yeah, I'm eyeing up the deluxe edition right now. So I'll get extra stuff, which
and it's coming in March. Was that the release?
I think it's
Yeah.
supposed to be like 15th, 16th,
Nice.
which is great. And also, I think they revealed like the teaser at March this year, so
Maybe.
that's kind of funny.
Maybe it'll be just before March break, so then you have a week to just crush it.
Yeah,
That would be
kill it.
convenient for you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I figure we could move into talking about some wrestling, get
Yes.
this party started, because Nate's got 2 basketball games and then a possible, well, definite party down the street. Possible whether we'll get there or not, because his game, 12-year-old boy playing at 9 o'clock, almost an hour away from us.
As you do.
Right, so that's kind of weird. But
Right.
anyways, let's start talking about wrestling, and we'll start off looking at some of the week's wrestling news and rumors. I would consider this a slow news week.
Yeah.
As somebody who also was scouring for news,
Can't say it's the most interesting stuff I've ever had.
it's really kind of weak. But the great thing about doing ratings every week is I always have something, right? And I don't
Guaranteed.
know if it's interesting to anybody, but I'm always curious. So the ratings this week for NXT, 534,000 viewers. That is a low number, right? Down 17.1%, a 0.13 in the key demographic, which is the same as last week.
Key demo.
It's the second lowest audience that they've drawn on USA. And again, just the usual competition from the NBA as it is this time of year. And this week's episode of Dynamite, which we also sort of look at their ratings every week, averaged 840,000 viewers. So they're up a little bit, 3.5%, and earned a 0.29 in the key demo, which is significantly up 11.5%. And again, NBA competition, no major games or anything, just the usual. And then I did pick up a note that there were some technical issues with TBS feed for some Spectrum cables for subscribers. I don't know where that would be,
I don't know.
but I don't know if that affected some of the audience or not, because it is frustrating, right? You just at some point
Right.
give up trying to watch it if you can't
Yeah.
watch it. So I don't know.
Would hurt them.
Yeah, go ahead. What is the hot news this week?
John Cena's gonna return on the last SmackDown of the year.
I did see that. Yes, big spoiler. Like, oh, but okay.
What's he gonna do? Speak again? You know how I love John Cena promos.
Sorry. So what SmackDown? The last one when?
Of the year.
And then so what? Oh, that's getting into Royal Rumble season, right? So we can unleash that speculation of
That's
he's
at least fun. I
involved
guess.
somewhere somehow.
The Rock wins. I'm gonna literally punch the TV.
That's part of our frustration, right? It seems like the big pay-per-views are no longer for wrestling fans. They're for like the marginal sort of fans and the hardcore fans, significant others or family members who
Right.
are
It's like, I don't know. I feel like they'll use that to get Rock versus Roman, which I don't,
like pack it with
I don't
celebrities,
think they have to.
pack it with previous stars from
Right.
the past.
McAfee only wrestled on those. Logan Paul's only wrestled on those in
Right.
Saudi.
Right.
Bad Bunny was in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Shane McMahon was in the Royal Rumble.
That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah, I don't know. Especially WrestleMania last year was
super
horrible.
biggest example of that.
Yeah,
We did not enjoy it.
Johnny Knoxville.
Something we did enjoy, a pay-per-view we did enjoy, and
Boom.
they're announcing another one. That's AEW and New Japan Forbidden Door 2
Forbidden Door is awesome.
is planned for 2023, and that was
Sweet.
from the Wrestling Observer newsletter that there's plans already in place. So that is awesome news, because that's just fun, right? Like you were talking about it this week. You want to follow New Japan. It's just finding the
Yeah,
time.
and like it looks cool. It's just like it just seems so all over the place for me, and personally, I can't really keep up with that. Like
Yeah.
I'd like to, but
they have so much they have so much stuff
I
coming
know
out.
it looks great, but I don't think I can really just keep up with that.
I agree. You were saying that you'd like to check out some of the junior tag.
Yeah, the Super Junior tag league looks
Yes,
cool with like
it
I've
does.
seen
Bay and
I've seen
Austin are
bits
awesome.
of Bay and Austin and Rush and Yo,
Yeah,
but I don't know, it just like seems like a lot to follow.
we're already watching a bunch of wrestling, and then it's So that way we get to see them on AEW or with AEW, and it just kind of works for
Yeah,
us.
Forbidden Door is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I remember liking a bunch of stuff. The main event was like a little underwhelming.
I
But
agree, but other stuff was
I remember
awesome.
like there's the IWGP 4-way last
Yes,
in-ring appearance of Adam Cole.
that's right.
Osprey and Cassidy was pretty good.
Was awesome. I love
There was that
match.
3-way tag where FTR won the IWGP titles.
Right.
So
for the way we consume wrestling, it's kind of perfect, because
Yeah.
we get our favorite federation, which is AEW, and then the one we wish we had time to watch, which is New Japan, coming together
yeah,
for us.
so hopefully like I'd love to get like, because now with the trios titles, I'd love to get United Empire
100%.
challenging specifically Osprey and Aussie Open again.
Yes,
That's the squad you
that's-
want. That's kind of United
That's
Empire to me.
pretty close dream match. Like that would be.
Yeah, I mean, I know they already faced the Elite and Death Triangle, but
I don't care.
do it again.
We're watching those
Do
two
it again.
face off 7 times, and I'm not
Yeah.
gonna care, right? So
Yeah.
add them to
I
the
want
mix.
to see more Osprey and
Yeah, for sure.
them.
You've been really impressed with him, right?
Oh
'Cause
yeah,
you haven't seen much, and
yeah,
then all
it's
of
been
a
great
sudden,
seeing him. Like I like that they brought them in even for the trios tournament, which is cool. So I
Yeah.
hope they do more stuff like that, even if it's not like Forbidden Door.
he's gotten a lot better. Back when I was regularly watching, he was still very, very flippy. He was like, it was him and Ricochet, right? Who were, so he still does incredible stuff like that.
He's
but
definitely fleshed himself out more.
Absolutely. He mixes in more standard
Absolutely.
stuff. Sorry, it's your turn.
Roman Reigns suffered a ruptured eardrum at Survivor Series, so he's out for a bit.
I heard
His
there's-
boss didn't fire off a gun, so it's not like
Nice.
that.
We sneak Office references in almost every
When it
week
works,
right now.
yeah.
It's classic.
So he's out for a little bit, but he's returning next week, so I guess probably a segment.
I read that there's 2 people out with a ruptured eardrum. Him and, oh goodness. You can fact check me, but I'm pretty sure it's Drew McIntyre.
Huh.
Both of them have the same injury, which is weird because you don't hear it ever, and then all of a sudden
How?
2 of them have it.
I don't, and
I'll
like
look it
in
up
the
when
same
I get a
match
chance.
too. So,
But I saw
like,
that
War
in
Games.
a headline somewhere, I think.
That's weird.
What else do I have here? So 2 former AEW wrestlers apparently at Impact tapings, and the one confirmed will be on TV. So if you don't want an Impact spoiler, you might want to cover your ears for a minute. But I can't imagine there's many people that are too worried. So apparently Jonathan Gresham and Kylan King were reported to be at tapings, and I did read that Gresham ends up saving Delirious from an Eddie Edwards attack, I think, after their upcoming match. So sounds like Gresham is at least going to be there and on TV. To what degree, I'm not sure, but
yeah, I haven't seen him since what was it, Death Before Dishonor? No, yes,
where he was super unhappy with the
lost
way
to
he was
Claudio
booked.
in the opener,
right? And kind of not like it wasn't given a ton of time and wasn't given the shine he wanted. So he's awesome in the ring. Kylan King, I don't know. I'm open to seeing her, and she seems like a better fit for Impact than AEW based on what I've seen, right?
The only thing I've seen her,
I'll give her a shot.
She also does NWA, which isn't exactly the place to be.
It is not the hot spot to be right now. No.
Yeah, I was just reading a thing on World Culture, but like it's definitely the fall from grace from like 2019 when you were like watching it. And it was
I was
like,
watching
cool.
it every week. It was like a cool
so
80s vibe studio show, right?
And they were
With some
saying
good
like
talent.
because they were down in the pandemic, then they came back, and like one of the things that they said in there, so credit to World Culture, was like Corgan's kind of like, because the people are complaining about like his creative direction a lot lately, and like especially with the whole Tyrus thing.
Yes.
And he's like, I don't care, then don't watch NWA. It's like a really Vince thing to do, but they're saying like
I'll tell you
Vince
what you
has like all this fallback though.
Yeah.
For all of his like, he's the worst human being ever. He's got all this fallback, all like the sponsorships and all that crap that he has. Like NWA is
the
very,
WWE machine, it can just do whatever it wants. It's
Right.
so big.
and Corgan can't really do that.
No.
And like it's and like you also got like the issues with like because like Aldis has said it's like toxic there, and like and just like even for like in my opinion, some losing a lot of people like. They had like Starks, Kingston.
Yep, that's when it was fun.
Thunder Rosa,
Yes.
even Deep went in there for a bit. Like a lot of people were in there, and then like they lost a bunch of people.
And
now,
I'm
like,
not a big Aldis fan, but he's a good fit for that.
oh, he's great.
place.
Yeah, and like I don't even like I remember seeing like who was gonna win the vacant TV title after it was like some Jordan Clearwater and someone like they just look like jobbers.
Jordan Clearwater, I've been watching for years and years. He's one of the champions in championship wrestling right now. It's not called From
I think
Hollywood
he
anymore.
won the TV title. I don't know, or it was
He's
the other guy.
still not good. Like he has a good look to him.
They're just they all
but-
look so mediocre, and just it looks like a high budget indie.
Yes,
I don't know.
which is if that's the talent they're pulling from, that is because I see a lot of that talent on the indie stuff I
Mhm.
randomly watch. So it's not much of an elevation for them.
Yes.
No. The last thing I have, and I don't think it's good news, is that Matt Hardy seems to be teasing the return of Broken Matt Hardy. He did the delete thing in the match.
Yeah, but he
this
does that
week.
all the time.
But then he also, in an interview speaking about Ethan Page, said, quote, if we continue along this same path and he keeps punishing and doing things to Private Party that negatively affects their career, then I might end up broken before it's all said and done.
I'm okay with that because honestly, Broken Matt is 1,000 times more interesting than anything else he's done.
I just don't want him at all. And it's like,
because clearly he's gonna be around a bit, so if you gotta make the best of it,
and
I guess.
But this guy's like touted as like super creative genius by some people. And like
A while ago,
the best thing you can do is reach back and do the same thing.
I guess they
I
already
don't
did this in
Right.
AEW though, and kind of didn't work. And they did Big Money Matt. Although it was better than Big Money Matt.
I just don't need to see him at all, I guess, is my problem.
This
But
is
anyway.
far from the Ultimate Deletion.
That is all. That stuff I loved. You know that because you were like young-ish, and I was like, "You're watching this," and even your mom, I got to watch the. I just thought it was
that
so
the final deletion? I think Ultimate Deletion was the WWE
the
one.
final deletion because
Right.
I just enjoyed that. It's like as a cinematch, if you want to call it that. It's
That
like one of
was
the
a
best.
cinematch before cinematches were
Right, and it was super entertaining because it was
existing.
just bizarre. Yeah.
Mhm.
Any other news for you?
I
I'm
saw
done.
that people spotted Dutch and Vincent in the NXT crowd, who are
Right.
rumored to be in a Bray Wyatt faction.
Yeah. They would definitely fit the aesthetic. Um, I Vincent's okay. Like I used to say I didn't like him, but he's not bad. And Dutch I actually thought I saw him really limited, but he's kind of cool for a big man. Felt like boss manish kind of
Didn't
like
he
big
do
guy
that
but
move
can
too?
still do stuff. Sorry?
Didn't he do that move too?
Yes, I think he does do the side slam.
Black hole.
Yeah. The black hole's a bit more. I feel like Boss Man's was actually sometimes it was kind of like that, yeah.
Yeah, but black hole just sounds cooler.
It does. So
And
yeah.
it makes sense.
So I wouldn't mind seeing them. I guess I'm more interested in seeing Dutch because I haven't seen him wrestle a ton, but good for them, I guess.
Mhm.
Anything else?
Trent Seven made his
Oh,
AEW
right.
debut on Rampage because he was Kip Sabian's guy.
Which we didn't see last night, but I'll watch that episode probably.
Takeshita.
For sure we're watching that. So we have to find time tomorrow to watch that one as well. Takeshita Mox 2, right? Exciting stuff to see Takeshita back.
So that's cool. Trent Seven's cool.
He is cool.
I don't know what happened to Tyler Bate, but
He should be a star somewhere, in my opinion.
he's still in WWE, but it's just like what happens since Worlds collide.
Because we talk about like trouble finding really good baby faces. He's an example. Like he can be a great baby face. But anyways,
Yeah.
Done news?
Yes.
Me too. So let's shift gears into a deep dive into our weekly show that our favorite show every week, I would think is safe to say, right? And that is taking a look at this week's AEW Dynamite. For you to talk about Dynamite, do that now. It is recording. You may speak. So you're just gonna nod. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we open with the Battle Royal, the ring thing, the Dynamite Diamond ring.
We do.
Ring, fighting for a ring within a ring.
Right.
Fighting for a normal
levels.
circle.
There's levels to it, you know?
Yeah, the squared circle, which is always funny.
And so winning this gets you a shot at MJF for the ring. This is the setup, yes. Okay.
But then they altered it based on the winner.
Now let me ask you, based on who's in this thing, like lack of star power, safe to say? I think.
Hey, don't say that about Kip Sabian.
Because I'm looking around going, who could possibly win this? And
Kip Sabian.
You were like Starks and
Page.
That's it, right? So
I mean, maybe Kip Sabian. I mean, Sean Dean's beaten MJF before.
Sean Dean had a great showing in this. Don't kid yourself.
And
just kidding.
He's beaten MJF before, so like
that is true. But yeah, that was my first note, right? Like, look at the people in this. It's pretty obvious where this is going. But anyways, it could be amazing. So tell me about it.
I mean, at least Kip Sabian won, right?
Correct. We had to.
Yeah. So Kip Sabian and Orange Cassidy were fighting on the floor for a bit. Like, they eventually went in after a minute. 'Cause, like, as the brawl breaks out, it was funny. They all started out of the ring, and then they go in. And I thought this was the lumberjack match with Cassidy and QT Marshall, even though I knew that already happened.
Right. They did. Yeah, they're all like at ringside, and then it's like they just dive in and away we go.
Starks got an entrance though.
Yeah, he did, which isn't spoiling anything at all, right? Like
no.
Yeah.
So Cassidy's trying to eliminate Kip Sabian. He was doing like the skinning the cat thing, but he was doing like lazy, and then so Blade punched him through into the ring post, and he was eliminated since he kind of went over the top.
Yeah.
Later, Dustin hit a destroyer, Dustin Rhodes, and tossed Sabian out.
My first note says Sabian eliminated early by Rhodes, and Jack is mad.
Like, really? Dustin Rhodes needed that rub?
It took a destroyer to do it, I guess.
Just destroyed him.
For the 50-whatever-year-old guy in his last year, right?
Destroyed my hopes and dreams.
He did.
Brian Cage tried to knock out Don Castle a few times, but the boys kept saving him until Cage just threw him onto them, and then he's out.
Yep.
Setting up your 6-man tag title match, I guess.
Yeah, they're a little bit of storytelling.
That's where that comes from.
Yes.
Jungle Boy hit a Hurricane Run over the top on Lee Moriarty to take him out, and when he was on the apron, Morrissey booted him and eliminated him. Morrissey's not in the match, but he was like on the outside, kind of as like a second to Moriarty, and I guess Page and Hardy are also in there because technically Hardy's in the firm.
He is. against his will.
Yeah. And then he chokeslammed him on the apron, which is
That
pretty
looked
cool.
that looked really good.
Also, he is Big Bill now.
Big Bill, is that what they called him?
That's what he was billed on Rampage as. He's Big Bill now.
Okay.
I don't like it.
No, I don't love Morrissey either.
I
so.
don't mind it though, 'cause at least it's his name.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do about that?
I guess.
I mean, you could not use it, but like if you're gonna use it, then just okay.
And after the apron chokeslam, I made a note that Tony Schiavone was, oh my god, he broke his neck, because it did look pretty impactful.
So Paige, Matt Hardy, and Starks are the final three. Paige turned his back on Hardy. He was like telling him whatever, so then that allowed Starks to eliminate him.
That was kind of made Paige look a little dumb, but
yeah,
it's okay. I didn't mind the finish after, so sorry, keep going.
Paige hit him with roundhouse, went for a power slam, but Starks countered to send him over the top and get the win. Then after, like, pretty much as soon as Starks' music hits, MJF's music hits.
Yeah.
And he comes out wearing the Triple B.
Can we talk about the match? Because the post-match stuff is pretty lengthy. And
sure.
I'm going to forget.
Okay.
So, there was one spot I made a note of that I thought looked kind of bad where Cage, like, didn't have enough momentum to go over, so he just kind of hopped over and stood on the apron, right? And then was waiting, and that was when, I think a spot with Jungle Boy on the apron. So he kind of, like, hopped over and waited on the apron for him. But anyways, yes, it lacked star power. Only a couple guys were actually going to win this, right? I'm okay with it furthering Paige and Starks because I feel like that's something they might go back to, right? And I like both of them. So
when Starks wins the title.
Right, exactly. So the choke slam on the outside looked really good, but the rest of this was pretty standard stuff. I mean, we got a destroyer, I guess, and I thought the finish was pretty well executed other than Paige kind of looking silly for a second. But weird that, is it strange that a guy that already...
It's 12-10 on 12-10.
Nice. Is it weird that a guy that already has a shot at MJF wins another shot? Like, I guess you're doubling
two
up.
Things.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's an opportunity to go somewhere fresh, too.
But they made it like a winner-take-all thing, so that kind of telegraphs the ring.
I think so, yeah.
Which I guess makes it... Because honestly, I want MJF to keep the ring. It's a good
Especially
it's a good
if he's the face of the company, he probably should be keeping it again, right?
No, but like even if he didn't have the title, I just like MJF keeping the ring. So that's his gimmick. I like that as a cheating mechanism.
So I thought the match was okay. Like I'm not a big Battle Royal lover, so it was pretty much standard stuff, and then the finish was fine, was my thoughts.
Yeah, the Battle Royal is okay, not like a hot opener, but I can't really see them putting it anywhere else on the show, so I'm like okay with it putting... Like, I think it's just like, fine to start. Like, I don't really want this stuck in the middle of the show.
Yeah.
It's like you have all the guys out there, that works. Like, that's fine. Cage and Butcher had some solid spots in there. Starks looked pretty solid too. Sean Dean Fleury was an odd call. And then then the rest of my thing is about the promo. But that's all. I guess Starks winning is fine. Like, that gives him momentum.
Yeah, the much needed momentum.
And a shot at a ring.
Yep, that he is definitely gonna win.
Yep. So MJF came to the ring telling Bryan Danielson that he knows Bryan is scared of him after what he did to Regal, and he should be scared. He said he's going to be a 4-time ring holder, and he'll still be the AEW World Champion.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was cool, calling out your boy.
Yep. My boy.
Want that now?
Oh, sorry. What do you mean?
MJF Danielson.
About the match? Yeah, I would love that, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Because he would have to cheat big time.
He would.
MJF told Richard that people seem to like him around here. He said the Starks is very talented, but the truth is that in comparison to MJF, Starks is that absolute drizzling shiz. We'll go with that.
Yeah, sure.
MJ said that he's a Rudy Poo candy ass. And
Ooh, rock.
He said Starks stole everything else from that guy. He called him a dollar store Dwayne. He's going to start calling him the Pebble. And he bragged about having a Porsche while ripping on the crowd for being poor. He's going to skip Ricky's Pebble all the way to Billy Corgan's NWA so he can wrestle on YouTube where he belongs. MJ said he didn't care that Starks was absolute because MJF is a generational talent and his reign of terror has just begun. Nod to Trips.
And that's when you were talking about Starks in NWA. That's when he really did look like The Rock. I think he's wearing sunglasses. He was wearing like the fancy shirts unbuttoned, like, and just the way he speaks and his mannerisms.
He definitely did change in AEW, but yeah, in NWA is a lot more. Yeah. So Starks bumped into MJF on purpose and grabbed a mic. He called him maxi pad, saying he should have expected a fifth-rate Roddy Piper.
Crowd
Starks
chant
wondered
ensues.
how much more shtick does MJF have trashing the people in the city and all that. He ripped about MJF spray tan. His ears were like yellow on the inside. It was weird.
Yeah.
He yelled at MJF for thinking he was better than Starks. He talked about how MJF was cheap with the scarf and the cheap hat. Starks talked about how when the people got behind him, it gave him a reason to keep going. He talked about how MJF let the people down. He let Regal down, but Starks delivers every time. He delivers on time every time, every week, every month. He ripped on MJF for complaining about not being paid enough. He said MJF avoids responsibility and avoids it because everybody hates Max, while Starks shows up to signings. Stark says there's responsibility when people like you.
I think that was cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Stark said he lives with dignity and respect. He talks about living in even though he's like a heel in Team Taz for a while, and his title is FTW, which is Afterworld, but sure.
Yeah.
Then he trashed MJF some more. Talking about giving women a crowd, a house, a car, and a car. Stark said that MJF doesn't deserve the title, but Starks did. He said that next week he's snatching the mole off his neck. He's stomping an a-hole into him, and Starks is taking the title. Starks said he's taking the responsibility off MJF's plate, a little boy. Then MJF low blowed him, and he went to like hit him with the ring, but got nailed with a spear, and he sold pretty good for Starks there.
He did. Yeah, fantastic showing. Starks may have outperformed MJF. MJF had some pretty good insults there. I really like the part of Starks being like, you are the champion, but you opt out of all the responsibility. Like, it's easy for you to be a heel and just be like, I'm not doing this and I'm not doing that, where I show up for everything and do everything, right? Like, yeah, I saw a thing today that apparently he memorized that whole thing.
I saw that would be pretty impressive.
Like, I don't think it was perfect, but I thought it was like Starks is really good on the mic and he super believable and passionate here. I thought it is like, again, it's too bad he doesn't have a chance at winning, because otherwise this would be a really, really good build, right? But there is in the back of your mind like, well, he's not winning, so it doesn't, but still an awesome segment. I thought both
it's like
of them.
when I was watching Last Jedi and I thought Snoke was really cool.
Right.
And then I was like, oh wait, he's a puppet grown in a vat.
Right.
You got that in the back of your mind the whole time.
Right. So I thought both of them did a really good job here, and yeah, this is nice for him to get this opportunity, right? Again, not winning, but cut an awesome promo here that people seem to love.
Yeah, I thought MJF cut a good one afterwards, and like some of those insults were funny, like the NWA a bit. But Starks really killed it. I thought like he went on a lot. It didn't feel like he was like rambling too much though. It felt like kind of real at parts.
It did.
Very passionate. And then like if he memorized that whole thing, that's really impressive. Like he killed it, and like he's morphed into like a great babyface. I really like because like it felt like he was on par with MJF, which isn't something you can say for a lot of people. Like so,
yeah.
It was really great. It was probably one of the best promos he's cut. And yeah, it does help to build this a lot. Other than the fact that you can kind of see the result coming, but that's okay because I think Starks still killed it. And still deserves all that praise.
I really like that Starks got the last word too. Right?
Yeah,
like it didn't go back.
And
to
he got the
MJF
last laugh. Like even like the low blow, he still kind of got the better of him because make the loser look strong,
which
right?
is further telegraphing.
Yeah, but that's okay. Like at least Starks gets that little bit, you know?
No, it was really good.
Yeah.
Really good segment.
Next we had Darby Allin, Samoa Joe thing. They both kind of a few lines. It was just Darby was talking about losing the TNT title again and stuff like that, and Joe also said stuff.
It was really quick. I thought they both sounded good, but like it's hard to do too much when you're building a match in a week, like basically. I don't know. It started last week. So yeah, that's as good as you're going to get. They both sounded fine.
I do kind of like that Darby keeps coming back for the TNT title, though, because it kind of boosts the importance a bit. Like, he's not just trying to move up. Like, he lost that. He's trying to reclaim that. Like, that's the one that means a lot to him. So, like, I kind of like that bit. And I can't see him going up yet, but maybe we revisit the MJF feud at some point.
Yeah, that could be heated up
and
again.
Joe was kind of funny. He had a couple lines that amused me. On paper, this looks pretty great. So
yes, agree.
Looking forward to that. Moxley had a promo next, and he was talking about Hangman, saying he fell off his horse, dusted himself off, and then did his talking with his fist. He talks about this being the sport of kings. He talked about how Blackpool was going to prove themselves this week against Jazz with ass-kicking wrestling, and Moxley is going to be ringside to make sure that there's none of that sports entertainment shenanigans during the match. And he said if Hangman wants another piece, he knows where to find him. I thought this was solid. It was pretty straightforward, but I like the bit with Hangman. I think he echoed our thoughts with the jazz thing because I think I'm also sick of it. And
That's yeah.
like I don't know, but let's keep on the Hangman match. I like the
Me
kind
too.
of slow burn to that.
Yep. It's funny 'cause I was laughing when you said that because my notes are all I know is that he said he plans on ending things with Jazz, and I couldn't hope for anything more than that, right? Like that's all I need is for this to be over with, so that he can move on to the Hangman feud, which I think could be awesome because they do have that recent history, right? That sort of didn't work out well for Paige, so I like that story a lot. So I think like this promo was useful. I don't think it was one of Mox's best, but it lays out his sort of plans and it did
Yeah,
what it was supposed to do.
good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And like this is so overdone. Like I made this joke in like one of my notes later. I think after the tag match, but I'll just run it now because I remember. But like I'm hoping that after Claudio and Jericho and Yuta and Garcia, that this is a literal final battle.
It has to be.
It's at final battle.
Yeah,
It needs to be the final
it
battle.
definitely does.
Like that's why I think I don't know who's gonna win, but I really hope Claudio beats Jericho because if Claudio's in Jazz, that means this is very evidently not over.
Right.
So Claudio needs to win that just for our sake. I'm not saying that's my prediction. It might be, but for our sake, he needs to win because
I agree.
then you can just cut that off and they can go off and like I just
Do anything else.
anything
at
else.
all.
The Blackpool is so cool, and they're kind of interesting without Regal. Like not like I mean I wish they still had Regal, but
Me
like
too.
it's an interesting state that they're in
Mhm.
is what I mean. So we need to deal with that. We need to do the Hangman feud. Maybe Danielson goes with MJF. No more Jazz.
I agree.
It's the point because Danielson can fight MJF. Mox can fight Hangman. Yuta and Claudio can do whatever the hell they want. They can literally face the Acclaimed. I don't care. No, something else
Anything
is the
else.
point.
Yes.
Okay.
Agreed.
Moving on, which they should take a lesson from.
Correct.
Samoa Joe versus Darby Allin, which is probably one of my favorite things they did tonight.
Probably my favorite thing.
That was pretty sweet.
I don't know. It's close.
Some of the notables. Darby Allin went for his usual like really fast, low suicide dive. Joe just walked out of the way, and Darby just hit the barricade in the floor hard.
This was the first
He
of
looked like he died.
I don't know, 3 things in this match where I was like, "What are you doing, Darby? Like, why?"
Oh, it's so bad.
I'm thoroughly entertained and it's amazing to watch, but like that's a human being who just moved a million miles an hour and dove headfirst onto
My
concrete.
friend, who doesn't really watch AEW, but like I know he's like kind of checked out, but like he said he doesn't really get Darby, he doesn't really like it. But I'm like, I don't know, Darby's like he's just cool. Like his character is different. Like honestly, I will always get a kick at like he just dies.
And
all
when
the time.
especially when he's paired up with someone like Joe, right? Because just the dynamic is perfect.
I thought you were gonna say especially when he's paired up with Sting.
No, not with Sting. With
No.
opponents who are known ass kickers is what he
Yes,
needs to
imagine
face.
him versus Walter. Like
Yeah.
that would be the ultimate. Like the Dragunov one was kind of hard to watch. That would be even worse.
Yes.
So speaking of which, Joe like had him in like a powerbomb position, so he like swung him into the barricade, which looked pretty gnarly.
The first hit looked
Oh yeah, and then he
super-
swung him in the apron, which wasn't that hard, but then he swung him into the barricade again, which just looked gnarly. Like that was just really cool.
yes.
It reminds me there's that one move in 2K where like if you try to powerbomb on the apron, you can like powerbomb on the apron, and then your guy will swing them around into the side of the apron too. It's like that. It's really cool.
And Joe just looks violent, right? When he's doing stuff to this kid.
Yeah.
It's great.
Joe had exposed the floor before, and then he scoop slammed him on the exposed floor.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. Inverted atomic drop and a boot followed by a senton by Joe. Coffin drop to the outside by Darby. Pop over stunner and a code red for 2 by Darby. Joe went for a superplex. Darby bit him to knock him off. Goes for a coffin drop right into the coquina clutch, which was awesome. That was so cool. And then he eventually passes out, giving Joe the win. Then after the match, Darby's like, and he shouts something at Joe, and he headbutts Darby. Then naturally, the next natural thing to do in these events is for Joe to hit Darby with a muscle buster onto the underside of the skateboard, like right on the wheels.
My
which
notes are
was
caps lock.
just-
Why? Like it's just
It's not even in the
insane.
match. I don't understand why he did that or Darby felt the need to take that, but it looked gnarly. And then he chokes him out again. Refs try to pull Joe off, then outruns Wardlow. Joe runs away.
Yeah, there was. Did you mention the spot too where Darby's like launched into the ring post member from the ring, and he flips over and like does a million little twists and then lands on the floor again into the barricade?
No,
Oh,
I don't know. What
he
you're
did.
talking about.
Remember, you know how Darby does the head into the ring post spot so well,
Yes.
and he did it
Oh my God! Yes, he got sent into the post
from
and
the
he just
apron.
like.
I think.
Oh yeah, that was awesome too.
Yeah, it looked incredible.
Oh, it
So
was nuts.
for only being 10,
It looked like the standing thing that Bailey did in
Yes.
the Alexander match.
Yeah.
It looked like that.
for only being a 10-minute match, I thought this was fantastic. Like Joe looks great beating people up. Darby looks great taking a beating. So like as you said, like on paper, we were pretty sure this is what we were gonna get. And like Joe looked like an absolute monster. And I wrote that part before I even watched the post match beatdown. So like double that, right? Like, and honestly, like this is what Darby Allin does, and he deserves a lot of credit for all of these types of matches. He's just fearless and is willing to do whatever the other guy wants to do. So I thought this was awesome. I would love to see a rematch with a bit of more story behind it and a more time for the match. The problem coming out of this for me is I'm more interested in another Allen Joe match than I am Joe Wardlow or Joe Juice, which I want to see Joe Juice, but I would rather watch this again if I'm being honest. 'Cause
Yeah,
it was so good.
that's what I'm saying. It's like my main point is like Wardlow is by far the least interesting of the three, though,
100%.
which is the one they've built for
Yes.
months, the whole year, let's say.
Yes. So I'm not yeah, that's my least of the three that I'd be interested in. But
Right.
this match was cool.
I thought it was a great team match. The Styles Clash was as great as you would imagine. And Joe always hits hard, just looks even better on Darby Allin. Like Joe may be the king of television, Darby is just the king of getting his ass kicked. Like it's incredible how he makes stuff look. Sometimes like it's
And almost all of Darby Allin's matches are the same formula, and I'm aware of that, and it does not bother me. There's the odd time he has like a competitive back and forth with somebody, but it's almost always he gets murdered, has awesome little
and then either he wins or he doesn't.
right, and either the coffin drop wins it for, and so, but it doesn't bother me.
Right.
It's so interesting.
It's amazing how much he took in the time that they had. A couple of audible reactions from us, which is like I think Darby's one of those guys who probably gets that the most. Like not often.
I think 3, like 2 right away with the dive to the floor and the swing into the barricade, and then I think the head off the ring post was another one too.
And
like,
definitely the skateboard one.
And we'll go weeks of watching shows without being like this. So 3 in his match.
Yeah, and then the only other thing that I can think of is like when the Elite and Death Triangle and stuff. I'm just like, oh my god.
And
Or
there
like, or when Omega takes a snap
some
German.
stuff on Impact this week that
That's
I was
true.
pretty impressed with too.
Yeah, Darby is just the muscle buster on the skateboard was like the most unnecessary thing.
Awesome though.
But like that was just so killer, like almost overboard. Well, it was overboard.
Oh, nice. I see what you did there.
I'd love to see this again sometime. Agreed. I'm looking forward to Juice and Joe though. I can't say I care about Wardlow. So to recap, Wardlow is the least interesting here. And out of Darby Allin, Wardlow, and Juice Robinson, which one of those three has been received a significant push this year and has been built up?
And then just stopped, it seems like.
Yeah.
Or like, I guess stopped isn't true because he's still in a title picture, but like slowed down significantly, I would say.
The symphony is going out with a whimper.
It is.
Next we get an Orange Cassidy Kip Sabian interview. Yay, more Kip Sabian.
My only note, I guess it sets up some intrigue and gets Sabian on TV.
Yay.
Speaking for Jack.
Yay.
Yeah.
Cassie says if Kip wanted a shot, he just had to ask, and Sabian does the heel move where he's like, of course he waits until he's hurt. He said like something like my little Clementine, which I thought was funny.
That was entertaining. Yeah.
And Cassie doesn't want him at his best. Cassie says if he won't fight him, find someone who can. And Sabian just kind of walks away. And he's like thinking about it, and Cassie's like, take that as yes. It's a solid bit. Apparently, it's Trent 7, which it was. So cool.
So do you know what the connection between Sabian and Trent 7 is, or is it just
they're European?
That's enough.
Yeah,
that's good enough.
We'll
yeah.
go with that.
So is is 7 heel then?
I guess. I don't know if he's sticking around.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Maybe it's like a Johnny.
Because I was wondering if it's just like, oh, I found a guy, or here's some backstory of how I know this guy, so that's why he's here. Or it's just, I don't know. But anyways,
I'm thinking it's like just like a John Morrison kind of thing.
Yeah, that could be.
Oh, I saw him. He's on MLW. Guess what? Johnny Fusion.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
Man,
I haven't watched MLW in a while.
This is his thing now. He's just gonna keep changing.
Oh no, that's
his
not
name.
true.
He's just gonna change his name everywhere.
I watched Hammerstone versus the other guy
All day.
Yeah, I watched that a couple weeks ago, maybe. Yeah, it was pretty good. Anyways, sorry. Carry on. AEW. We're not here to talk
Kip
MLW.
Sabian, good.
Yeah, you liked it. Next.
He could totally be Cassidy.
No, definitely not. Too bad.
Oh. Next we get Jericho promo.
More jazz in my show. It's what I need.
He said that Claudio doesn't believe that you can beat Jericho, which is why Jericho will beat him at Final Battle. He said he talked about Claudio being forced to join Jazz after Claudio loses, like go under his mentorship, take him under his wing, be a sports entertainer, stuff like that.
Yeah, the only thing I kind of found funny is that like he's talking about mentoring a guy who's been wrestling for like probably 2.5 decades or something, which is kind of funny that he needs mentoring, but Like you said earlier, and very effectively, I don't want these two mingling anymore. So I don't know if Jericho wins. You're right. This continues
I-
at some
If
level,
Jericho wins, it can't
and I
end.
don't want it. So I really hope Claudio wins, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then he's stuck in there, and eventually got to do a storyline where he gets out, or Blackpool have to fight him or something, which means in turn they would not be done. If Jericho wins, there's no way this is emphatically done
And is
the
the
way it should be.
stipulation's kind of silly? Like, is the implication that Claudio didn't earn another shot, and so he has to like give something up to
Even though Jericho cheated to win the
right?
title and cheated a bunch of other
And
times,
usually, I mean, there is a rich history of champions getting rematches. I'm not saying it's
at least
guaranteed,
it's not a rematch clause.
but it seems like he needed to put something on the line to get a title shot that he probably should have gotten anyways. So I don't know. It's a bit silly to me.
Yeah, that's a little weird. And we're rolling right into more Jazz versus Blackpool.
And so it's yeah. Sorry, go ahead. I'll save my comment. I'll save my thoughts till you're done.
All right. Garcia and Hager versus Claudio and Yuta. Don't think we've seen this combo before, but do I care? Nope.
It feels like we have though, right? It doesn't even matter if we actually have.
I don't think
it
we
just
have, but
feels like we have.
right. If because we've seen Claudio and Hager do it, Garcia and Yuta, Garcia and Claudio. Um, you know.
And I mean, Hager's the one I'm least interested in seeing, so it doesn't really. Anyways, you know how we feel about this.
Yeah, there's a bit at the beginning where
Everybody.
Hager threw the purple hat to Claudio because they have a second one. He thinks about putting on, but then he punts it.
Even him teasing putting the hat on was
Like
dumb.
that was really a bit. That was a bit.
Like Hager's comedy stuff is seeping into other people, which I don't enjoy.
It was funny for like the first few times, but then once they started doing it too much in that casting match, I was like, okay, stop.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Like, okay, you like your hat?
Yeah,
The
it's
hat.
purple, and you have multiple of them.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a superplex to Yuta. Oh wait, so by Yuta to Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
Rebound German by Garcia. There's a botch Frankenstein with Claudio for 2 with Hager because he didn't really rotate, he just landed on his face.
Oh
and shoulder.
yeah, that's right.
It was really bad. Claudio swings Hager. Okay, so here's the finish, which I don't like. So Hager has Claudio in the ankle lock, and then Garcia puts Yuta in the Dragon Tamer. So then Claudio rolls and uses his foot to pull Hager, so it sends him into Garcia, which looked pretty silly. And then Claudio hits Hager with a singular uppercut for the win. So there's that. Then quick post match was Shivani coming in the ring for an interview and says he has like a Regal interview that they filmed, like it's from before the MJF attack before he got written off.
The Regal write-off, official.
Regal says they'll only see this if something bad happens to him, and when someone is bad like him, he expects it. He said he took exception to what MJF did to Shivani. He gets upset at emails, and he gave MJF what he wanted. But be careful what you wish for, because now everyone's going to be after him. He says the 3 main guys of Blackpool don't need him, but they wouldn't let him go, so he had to show them, and they can mold Yuta into the best pro wrestler. He said he did what he did to teach them, and always stay one step ahead. So then that's over. Then Mox promo, he doesn't really acknowledge what happened. Like he's just kind of like, he seems kind of conflicted or whatever, so I guess he just kind of ignored it.
Yeah.
And then he said they live and breathe for the sport of pro wrestling. He said you can call them whatever you want. Which you would think would tease them not Blackpool, but then he kind of mentions Blackpool later, so I guess they're still Blackpool, which I think is fine. But
We'll
whatever.
see. Yeah, we'll see where it goes.
At least kind of legacy thing. Mox said that final battle, this war with Jericho Appreciation Society ends. Fingers crossed.
That's the part I focused in on.
Final battle, right?
Yes.
Moxley said that this Friday on Rampage, he'll challenge any wrestler that wants to face him. Takeshita.
Mm-hmm.
Moxley spoke about how Blackpool will make a statement, and pro wrestling will make a statement. Thoughts on this barn burner?
Yeah, and in the moment I wasn't sure what it was, but there was like something I couldn't get into this match, and it's probably just the Jazz BCC exhaustion, right, from all of this. I like 3/4 of the people involved in this match, right? But I just didn't find it very interesting for whatever reason. And I, like you, I thought the finish was kind of weak, right?
It
like,
was so weak.
An uppercut, and we were both like, "What?" So I think it under-delivered significantly. And I have a note here. I rewound it, I think, when we were watching it, that Taz was like speaking gibberish. Remember?
Yeah.
There's like a sentence
I missed that, but you
made no sense, and then he just bailed out and threw to Tony Schiavone because it's like he forgot how to speak, which I thought was funny. But yeah, like I don't even like. I don't even think it was a good TV tag match. It was just like
Eh,
fine, as we would say, I guess. I didn't enjoy it.
mediocre.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fine. I guess it was okay. It was just kind of off. I didn't care at all. I don't know. I wasn't really into it. I was struggling to find notables, which there's like the Blackpool. There is like the Blackpool Jazz fatigue settling in, but even so, usually delivers in ring like decently. Something just didn't connect here. Maybe I just don't like Claudio and Hager together.
I
Hager in
don't.
general.
Yeah, that's part of it.
There's that Frankenstein botch that was pretty bad. Then some things that were just kind of dumb, like the hat bit was, and the finish was really lame too. Not only did Hager look stupid the way he fumbled into Garcia from Claudio rolling him, like that was stupid. Like that made you send into the Garcia and break that up.
Right.
That was stupid. And then he lost to a single uppercut, which is so dumb. It reminds me of NXT when Roddy just won with a knee strike.
Mm-hmm.
No. The Regal thing was okay. Like I get what they're doing. The premise was a little flimsy, but I guess at least they tried something to write him off.
Yeah,
and,
can we
but
talk?
it was the most blatant send off ever, though.
Can
Like
we talk through this reasoning?
it's like he died.
So the reasoning is, he's done all he can do for Mox and Danielson.
And Claudio.
So he sets Mox up to get screwed over, betrays Mox, and helps MJF. And
So that everyone's on MJF now.
but knowing that MJF was going to take him out and sacrifice his own possible health because he has all of these significant problems.
I guess you didn't know
I was just
MJF
like,
would take him
what?
out, but like he would
I
assume
think that's
something would
part of
happen
it.
though.
Yeah, that
But like
I don't know. It didn't make a ton of sense to me. I didn't find it
I guess
very
at least they tried.
convincing. It felt like they came up with something quickly and they thought this is good enough. And I'm
Mox's
just like, what?
Mox's promos was solid after, but he didn't really acknowledge it.
So
all too
taking the
much.
target off of Moxley is helpful to him
The title he
because
wanted,
I don't
the
I-
title that he likes.
I don't get it.
I don't know.
I
It was
guess.
a little bit of a disconnect there, but at least there's something.
And all I cared about with Mox is that he's saying that he wants to end this stuff with Jazz. So I'm like, heck yes, let's go.
The nice thing with the Regal thing was like it was kind of like it was very much a farewell, but I mean at least
For
they
sure.
kind of do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. At least that's kind of nice. I
Like
guess.
I feel like it almost made sense and I get what they were trying to do, but when I really thought about it, I'm like, I don't see how this is beneficial to anyone other than I guess you're making MJF a star, so cool. Anyways, whatever.
Yeah,
I
that's
missed
weird.
something, I think.
Next we got House of Black promo. Black was talking about how the company's been corrupted by some people. He said this company is sick and dying, so it's time for the house to put down the corruption. Juilliard says the crime is treason. Matthews says the verdict is war. And King says the sentence is extermination. And Black says that anybody that has an issue with what they've been doing over the past 2 weeks or what they've said here, then next Wednesday, come one and come all.
Yeah, I thought
So they are in action.
overall cool. I thought Malachi Black's delivery was awesome. A little bit cheesy the way they worked in one word for each of the other three, right? With the whole treason, whatever. But I just want them to get going and get involved in the trios title picture. But like, so that's my question. If you're could be a clear trios team, right? How do you build them? Because you don't really have like lesser trios, you know what I mean? Like established teams. So do you start throwing people together?
I mean, they already did Fuego and Bear County.
And you can start putting together three of like the cheesy factions we have kicking
Chuck
around,
Chaos,
right?
Chuck Chaos Project, or honestly, Best Friends. They're
Right.
not like super. You can heat them up for like a title shot every now and then, but or like Factory.
Because it's not like tag team where we have clear established tag teams and you can sort of go through the ranks. There's like who's actually a trios.
All the
team, right?
trios, like the trios division's solid, but all the trios teams are top tier.
Yes. So bottom line, I would love for House of Black to get him, because think of the matches they would have with either of the people in the best of 7 right now, right? Like that'd be incredible. So I don't know. I'm hopeful. I'm just wondering, like, how do you build a trios team when you don't really have a division?
At least Trustbusters haven't been around in a while because they suck.
But I guess the same could be said for the women's division, right? Like they try and do stuff there without really building anything. So I don't know.
It's true. Yeah, I guess we'll see. Like, it was really cool. It was great to have them back. I like the presentation we've had with them so far.
Me too.
Since they've come back, like I think at least
They're
think they've
spooky,
se-
but they're not like supernatural.
they
So
seem to be
that's
setting
my-
it on the right path, which is nice. Yeah, most they do like a blackout and then.
Yeah.
So I like that they're like up in the presentation here, like because I think it was a real misstep having them involved with the Sting for so long and then losing a lot. Like that just really hurt
And
them,
all three of them are just so good, like, and different from each other.
but also similar.
Right, in terms of, well, Murphy doesn't even like fit their tattooed and
No, but
aesthetic, but
he strikes good.
yes, they're awesome.
Murphy's my boy.
And Brody King is super cool too,
Yeah.
man.
So they're in action next week. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Pretty
And we
cool.
met them and they were super nice, so that helps
I
as
haven't
well.
framed that autograph yet. I honestly forgot where it is.
Yeah, Mom probably knows where it is. We need to get a frame for Christmas or something.
Not smart.
I know. That's true. I mean, of course you are, son.
Thank
You're
you,
good, 'cause
dear
if
father.
I say you're not smart, that's sort of a shot at myself as well.
Yes,
Right.
and also that would imply that you don't like me. That would be not good.
Horrible. Yet I choose to watch a million hours of wrestling and sit in a basement and talk about it with
Because
you.
no one else is gonna do it.
It's all the money we make off this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
I can't turn off the money faucet.
You're just in for the money. I
Exactly.
should have known.
We're working at a deficit because I've now developed this microphone addiction, right? So it's actually we make zero money off the podcast.
Negative.
And I spend money off
Negative amounts of dollars.
taking a loss on it because it's fun to do.
Mhm.
But sorry, I have distracted ye.
So next we get Jamie Hayter sit down interview with Tony Schiavone at the request of said Jamie Hayter.
Yeah, she made a good point, right? Like, why is Saraya
Yeah.
getting sit downs and I'm
Saraya,
the champion?
Yeah,
Which I thought-
so she was talking about like Shivani was saying how Hayter asked for it, and Hayter was like, Saraya got one, Storm had one, but not her, and it kind of baffled her, and she tells him to ask her something, and it's like, that is a good point, because like,
It's
I
just too
get
bad
Storm.
she's a heel making that point because I'm like, yeah, you're absolutely right. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I agree
Storm,
with
like
her.
Saraya though, like
Yeah.
really,
Right.
Saraya.
Yeah.
Saraya.
Yeah, our favorite. So yeah, I agreed with her, which I don't know if I'm supposed to as the heel, but I do. And I thought like it's the most she's gotten to say, right? And she actually sounded pretty good, I thought. And how did you feel about the way she was holding the belt?
Well, like wasn't she?
She was
like,
just like very secure. I kind of liked it, like she was displaying it, but also like taking great care with it, kind of thing. Like it seemed really important to her. I know that seems like I'm probably looking very deeply into that, but I kind of liked the whole presentation, and it was short, right? She didn't get to say a lot, but it's still more than she said. So
I'm surprised MJF doesn't do that thing, like you know how Aldis holds it.
yeah,
Like, I'm surprised he doesn't do like something like that.
and I'm
since
glad
I've
they
never
made the
heard of
choice not to have Britt come and interrupt this, because that's been what they can still work towards that, and I think that is what you
it.
do.
But I like that she at least gets her own
but
thing
yeah,
here.
let her build her star as you're doing that.
Yes.
So I like this.
She says the division is getting interesting and she's at the top of the totem pole. I don't think it's getting interesting, but sure. Everyone is after her and she'll be reigning and defending. She does have an eye on Cheetah vs. Bunny on Rampage for the Regina to wave title, some Japanese thing.
Oh yeah, I
probably.
didn't even know. I'm like, what are you
I
talking
just
about?
seen Sheeta with that before. Like,
Yeah.
it's some title she has. But it doesn't hold a candle to her title, and she'll give a shot to the winner. So it's solid. I thought the whole funny thought, the thoughts on the division was funny, cause like, I don't know, it was lame, cause like, what division?
Right.
I don't know, it's not much, and it's not interesting. And it's funny that she's giving a shot to the winner of that title match, cause in what universe does Bunny win?
And I mean, yeah, and like this is how underdeveloped the division is, right? We'll just put a match on TV for a number one contender because we don't really know who the number one contender is, because we don't really spend any time on anybody, right? Like other than Jade Cargill, I'm not sure who. Like, where's
Which, even
Serena Deeb,
then,
man?
That's kind of winning.
Where
Oh my
is
God.
Serena Deeb?
Where is Serena Deeb?
Right? Miss her.
Where's Serena Deeb?
Right. I guess
Where's Serena Deeb?
I guess she was last to heel, so she couldn't be right in there for the title.
No,
right
but
now,
I forgot where she went.
me too. I don't know where she went. But
Last
I
thing I
miss her.
remember was a lumber Jill match.
Yeah, we got Ruby Soho back instead. Not a
What-
fair deal.
It's a lumber Jill match, right?
I think so.
Or is that like offensive?
I don't know. I don't know if you say that. I think it's might be lumberjack for everybody now. I'd have to look into
I
it.
forget what they called it. Women's whatever. Lumber people.
A timber worker. I don't know.
Timber worker.
Maybe.
Next we get Speak of the Devil, Jade Cargill and the Baddies versus Kira Hogan, Madison Rain, and Sky Blue.
I feel like should be
Star power.
a recording of me, because I say to Rick, this is your women's match this week. Like, I don't want to say that week after week after week, but they force me by, this is the only women's match you get this week. And it's 5, 6 inconsequential people and Jade. Is that fair?
5.
5
Yeah.
inconsequential people
And Jade.
and 5/6. So sixths Sorry, is what I meant.
5, 6,
There are
6 of
6 of them, and each of them is a sixth
5/6 of the match
is
are
inconsequential.
6. That's a horrible word.
Sorry,
6.
it is.
Oof.
Especially into a microphone. Very sibilant, as they say, with all those S's.
give
Sorry,
up.
people.
There's a crummy double team by Rain and Blue, which why are they a thing? Sky Blue's so.
She's fine, but I don't know anything about her.
She kind of feels like AEW's Liv Morgan.
If she's ever won anything ever, like I don't know.
Also, I was right. Next week, Liv Morgan and Tegan Nox are facing Damage Control for the titles.
Awesome.
It's been like a week or so.
Good for Tegan Nox, at least, as long as her legs
No.
hold up. No more injuries for her, please.
No, it's not that great because random tag title match with Liv Morgan.
I know, but she's working and she's healthy, so I'm happy for her.
now.
Right.
Anyways, there's some weird axe kick with like a botch time. Remember with like Blue and Velvet, like Velvet did like the short arm, like the axe kick, but then Sky Blue didn't really move, and then
Yeah.
it looks so stupid.
They were like countered the axe kick, but it more looked like she just didn't follow through with it and like stopped and rested her leg on her head or on her neck or whatever.
It was like she hit it, but she wasn't supposed to. So Sky Blue no-sold it, then acted like she countered it, but she didn't.
Sky Blue's a big thigh slapper too, I noticed.
Oh my
or maybe
God.
it was just the camera was in a rough spot, but
she did do it once, but like
several
it's
times.
not like good too, because you can kind of tell sometimes Drew McIntyre does it.
Yeah.
But the difference is the Claymore usually looks really good.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Especially when he was a heel. I remember once, like after the one match with the Shield that he had with Strowman and Ziggler. Strowman turned on Ziggler and power slammed him, and then he just Claymored the crap out of Strowman.
It does look good
and
sometimes.
I like because like now he does it differently. I feel like because like he did that and like he kind of like landed, he like hit him with it and like he kind of flew over Strowman as he landed. Like I don't know, he used to look really cool when he did it. When he was heel. Now he's just
Heels are better. We know that.
I don't know why, but when he was like in that heel run when he came back to main roster, like
Yeah.
I just loved the way he did a Claymore. It was one of my favorite things. I remember once Strowman was on the ramp, it was back like when McIntyre was like the monster killer or whatever, like taking out Strowman, and he just like Claymored him on the ramp, and I was just like, I loved it.
Did not like the addition of the counting it down.
No, that was stupid. But like back when he was
very WWE.
Back when he was heel, that's like the burn it down.
That's something that Jazz should be doing. Stuff like that is sports entertainment.
For he should do that for the Judas Effect.
And like, or like, you know, Randy Orton stupid smacking on the mat and stuff like that, or sweet chin music kicking is just, that's very sports entertainment to me.
They should do that.
Yeah.
I don't know who else could do that. I think it works for Jericho with like the Judas Effect. It's like a running thing.
Yeah.
Anyways, Kira Hogan hot tag flurry, then a bit too much taunting, and then Cargill with the spine buster. Hogan tags out. Rain goes for a ripcord thing. Cargill blocks with an elbow. Jaded for the win.
Listen to the excitement in your voice as you recap this match.
So another lame singular women's match on the show that doesn't really deliver. Not a great talent pool either. Sky Blue especially stunk up the joint, more so when she was in with Velvet, because that's because Layla Gray didn't get a lot of ring time. Baddies aren't that great. Sky Blue is not good. Cargill didn't do much until the last stretch, and even so, half of it was taking offense from Hogan until a spinebuster. Then Rain tagged in, took the anticlimactic fall so that Hogan didn't have to. And it's weird that just because like now she's gone from the baddies, all of a sudden they try to present Hogan as anything close to a threat.
Yes.
Like she all of a sudden
didn't
just, like,
really come off as one either.
No, they didn't really come off as that, but I could tell that's what they were trying to do,
Right.
and she's not even on that level, so it was really weird. Not great. Once again, the only match for the women. Nothing really great here. Anticlimactic.
Yeah, I guess the point is Hogan didn't take the pinfall, right? So I don't know if she's continuing to feud with Jade,
I mean, like,
but
is it really that much worth it so that she doesn't take the pinfall?
we don't know anything about Hogan other than she was a baddie, right? And so Jade doesn't really come in until the very end, does very little, and gets the pinfall. Like, that all makes sense. And I almost want to like Red Velvet because she does stuff really quickly and with really good intensity. But
She
I think
used to be like okay, like she used to have some cool stuff, but like
I think she kind of moves faster than she's ready for, to some degree, right?
I feel
I like how
you definitely said that before.
Yes.
Like back when like she was more prominent, you definitely. I know you said that before.
because she's like, it seems like she's doing things intense and really fast, but it's like, I don't know if you're ready for that yet.
Right.
So just get it right first. But anyway,
Which sounds good on paper. But
This was mostly a waste of time, I think. But
Yeah.
it got 6 women on TV, I guess, is the silver lining.
that's like the triple threat tag that they did a couple weeks ago. Like
Right.
that wasn't very good either.
No.
So next we get a Saraya interview. Britt interrupts and congratulates Saraya on the biggest win of her career, and it won't happen again. She says Saraya said that Baker got handed everything on a silver platter, but Saraya got a pay-per-view match against the biggest star in the division for her first match, so touche, I guess.
guess.
She gives Saraya tickets to a January Dynamite, I think, or something. It says she can either sit from row and watch Baker be the star she is, or lose to her. And so Saraya thinks that's a challenge for round 2, but it's a tag match, so there's going to be her and Hater versus Saraya and someone. Needs to find a partner, blah, blah, blah. Don't care, Saraya. No, thank you.
Yeah, like Baker's delivery of her stuff is fine.
Baker, good. Yeah, sure. Saraya, nah.
It's never an issue, but I didn't like the whole like handing her tickets thing.
I didn't understand. That confused me because it just
Kinda
like
cheesy.
just challenge her. Like
yeah.
I don't like because as if she's not like.
And then my other problem
gonna be like,
is,
nah, I'll take the tickets.
are we not going backwards to a tag match after a decisive singles match on a pay-per-view? So now we're like,
Guess
don't you want to
Baker
build
doesn't-
to these things?
I guess like Baker doesn't want to face her on her own.
I
but, like,
guess.
I don't want to do this again.
And that's what I just want Baker to get away from Saraya and do something more important, right? Like I'm hoping this is just in the meantime because I'm hoping they're gonna go.
Oh, I
with
love
Baker.
that song.
Yeah, I know you do. But hoping they're gonna go with Baker Hater slow burn. So I hope this is just a detour on that because I don't really care about this.
Yep. Then Excalibur advertised a boatload of matches at a very fast rate.
As he does.
Poor guy.
Yes.
Poor guy.
I remember when we were first doing this show, you would copy down all of those, and then it's like, why? We just skip it.
It's funny how like 'cause he was like advertising a lot of stuff. I'm like, dude, chill out.
He's the Micro Machine guy from whatever
Oh my god, yeah.
decade that was. 80s, 90s.
80s because I think it was on Goldberg's once.
Right. Oh, you're right. It was. Too bad Goldberg's is terrible this season.
Oh,
like we haven't even watched.
It's still there.
We're behind several episodes because it's not been good.
It's not
Once
Goldberg's
Murray's gone-
anymore.
Yeah.
There's that, and then it's just not. It feels so fake now because there was that air of legitimacy for a while.
Well, and all of the kids are now adults, so it becomes awkward to hold together all these storylines when they're all grown adults. It's easy when they're kids and they're in the house and whatever, right? But now all of them
You
are
still have to
adults.
kind of keep them tied to the house
and
somehow.
It's strange.
It's like
it feels unnatural.
there's that, and then like for me, like when's the last time you can remember? This is a bit off topic, but when's the last time you can remember like an actual clip from his life?
Oh yeah, that's
the
true.
show.
They ran out, I guess.
Or like
right?
even not even that. If you run out, fine. When I came around last time, like it's felt like usually there's an air of truth to
Right.
the stories.
Instead of just feeling like a scripted
Like,
sitcom.
right, especially like because I think the decision to put in Erica instead of Eric was fine because like even so you kind of kept that air of truth.
And
but
it's
now
to
with
have
her
that
being
appeal for
right
that demographic.
and to have her like pregnant and stuff now, that's like it's so far removed from what it was. It's like I feel like this would happen if I was watching The Office when it came out. Like it's just like.
And some of their
watching this happen in
behavior
time.
now that they're adults seems just kind of stupid,
Right,
right?
because there was the one episode early in the new season where Barry was like, this would have happened in like season 2, 3, or 4, right? When he was still in high school. And
Yeah.
now it's like he's in university and stuff, like, and it's like
to become a doctor.
And Adam's like messing with him. It's like, dude, you're in university now.
Right.
Like,
So they're behaving like adolescents as adults, and it's a bit off-putting at
yes.
this point. And no Murray.
Oh yeah, and no Murray.
So, anyways, there's your Goldberg's review wedged in the middle.
Which was necessary.
If you even know what it is or have seen it.
Yeah.
Sorry. We'll get
good,
back.
Good show until the new season.
And then the main event of Dynamite happened instead, which was
Yeah, acclaimed FTR for the tag titles. Cool.
Yep. I'm fine with this, obviously.
Yes. There's a hit toss stalemate back and forth between Dax and Bowens until they go to the ropes. The ref forces a break, then all four in the ring with a standoff until a brawl kind of breaks out.
I thought Bowens and was it Dax or Cash?
Dax.
Whoever started out, they started out hot. That was right away. Was into it, yeah.
Later on, Stereo sharp shooters. On FTR from the Acclaimed, which is odd. Until they get to the ropes.
Yep.
Acclaimed with the sharpshooters.
Yep.
Sharp scissor.
And that's one of Dax's moves, right? His ode to Bret Hart.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Sharp. They should call it sharp scissor.
Oh, nice. I see what you did there.
That's really bad canker.
Great. Carry on, man. What are you doing?
Hurts when I put my tongue on it.
So don't.
But it's like there, and I know it's there.
Yeah.
Ow.
Keep talking.
There's a back body drop by Caster, opening the door for a hot tag to Bowens, who goes on a tear.
He looked really good in this, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
He stood out to me.
Ushi by Bowens for 2.
Yep. Always nice.
Mm-hmm. Spike pile driver to Bowens by FTR for a near fall. Later on, a wheelbarrow cutter by the Acclaim for 2. And then later there's a bit where FTR go for a smash contraption. That doesn't pan out. Then the Acclaim try to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Also doesn't work. And then FTR finally nail it to get a near fall. Bowens barely breaking the pin. So
Good near fall.
That was a nice little
It
sequence.
was.
FTR go for the powerplex, but why give me what I want? Bowens knocks Dax off. Then Cash dives, but Bowens catches him with the arrival. Caster goes for a mic drop, but he kind of went slow to the top. So Cash gets out of the way. Then he nails Caster with a lariat for 2 a little later on. And the finish comes in. Cash hits Caster with a powerbomb, goes for like a jackknife pin off of that. But then Caster counters it, sits down on the pin to get the win.
Yeah.
Kind of suddenly, which was kind of cool.
Surprising. But yeah, I kind of like it. It's like
Yeah.
what they have to do to retain.
And then the Guns appeared on the Tron post match. Mock FTR saying they're trash, but they won't get involved in the feud because that's stupid. And they have a card from the Briscoes challenging them for basically double dog collar match.
But why are the Guns my final image on this episode? That wasn't my favorite thing. But
they give the people what they want.
And you didn't talk about the most important notables from this match. Who did they keep cutting to watching it backstage?
Oh yeah, Jarrett and
just had to get Jeff Jarrett on there, and Lethal and Singh and Dutt, I guess, right? We're all there watching. But anyways, I thought this was an excellent main event, a really good tag match, especially like the second half of this was pretty awesome once they kind of loosened the tag rules and whatnot a bit, right? It really opened up. Lots of strong flurries from pretty much everybody. Tandem offense, right? I thought Bowens, like I said, was kind of the standout here. I noticed him quite a bit. And the finish, I mean, it's maybe not the most satisfying, but it makes sense. It keeps FTR looking strong. Like I
thought it was the most believable way they could get the claimed a win here.
Right, like they had to sort of sneak a win in whatever way they could, and not just like.
And he looked like he pinned him good too. Like it was a deep cover. It reminds me of when like Escobar lost the cruiserweight title to Kushida. He had like him like the sunset flip, then Kushida rolled over, but then like he kind of like sat further and like rolled him up deeper. So I think it worked.
And I loved Cash's like disappointment expression after losing.
Yeah,
right?
I forgot to mention that, but yeah, his facial expression after
just like
the kind of shock, disappointment, like I really like that too. And then the kind of scissor, like then there's kind of like a respect thing, which is solid. Code of honor, I guess. Losers.
I thought this was a really strong main event. To the show, good match.
Yeah, it was really good. Great TV main event. Still sad no trios match because this doesn't hold a candle, but still this'll do. To quote D'Angelo, she'll do just fine.
Yeah.
I think it could have used a bit more, but I think it was still really good. Definitely picked up in the last little bit. A lot of solid near falls there, and the finish was done pretty well too, like we said. The Guns was fine. I don't know why they're involved to make the challenge for the Briscoes, but that's whatever. Obviously, it's out of nowhere. Not a huge fan. Double dog collar couldn't have had something better for that, boys. But I imagine it being really good anyways. Dog collar isn't the best. Double just seems bizarre. Like I'm, like would it be like say Cash is tied to Mark and
or
Jay
is it a
tied.
Dog collar with 2 on each end, and they're all 4.
It's like a 4.
That
would be horrible.
Yeah, there's no.
So
way
I'm imagining like one's tied to one and one's tied to one. Because imagine
so.
It's like a 4-way dog collar. It's like they form a square.
Oh, that would be nuts too.
But yeah, so I imagine that being good anyways. But couldn't have done like steel cage or just like a street fight.
Least favorite of my stipulations, pretty much. It's up there anyway.
First time ever, at least.
Anytime you're tethered together, it's not.
They should have done a strap dog collar match where one of them has a strap and one of them is a dog collar.
No, just some sort of match. Other stipulations.
Okay, one of them has a Russian chain and then one of them has a Samoan
Punjabi
chain.
prison match is what we need.
Wait, no, they can't do a Punjabi. They need to do something similar, but like Arabic asylum.
Right. Some sort of like
Arabic asylum. Nailed it.
Borderline inappropriate. Stereotype. You got to work that in there somehow.
What's
a Canadian? It's got to be something like cold and frozen.
Like something with a glacier.
Yeah, well, Glacier, great wrestler.
No, like
greatest Power Ranger that ever lived. Glacier.
Like you do like an Indian one, but like what's like a prison kind of thing that would start with an I?
I don't.
Indian
Institute House.
Indian Inmate Institute.
Could be. Anyways, I'm going into my overall thoughts on this show now. We got sidetracked. Solid episode of Dynamite. 2 highly entertaining matches. The main event, really enjoyed. Al and Joe, loved that match too. But then you had like Jazz Blackpool, which was disappointing. The women's trios, which was, I can't say disappointing because I didn't expect much, right? So it kind of delivered on low expectations, I guess. And the Battle Royal opener was fine, but it's never my favorite type of match. And I don't think that one stood out, just largely due to star power lacking in it. I would also say that the Starks MJF segment was by far the standout.
Oh, yeah, that was really good.
There was nothing else that really, like, whatever, the House of Black stuff was cool, but it wasn't like amazing. So, and I wasn't as big a fan of the Regal write-off as I'm going to assume a lot of people are. I bet you when I go to look later, it'll be well received. I didn't love it. So no standout segments other than MJF and Stark. So I said this show was a B. 2 cool matches, 1 cool segment, but not much else. I didn't think so. Good, but not great. You?
Um, I thought it was a pretty good show. Like, we had a couple good matches. That, like, I think the main event really delivered, and I loved Joe and
Me too.
Darby Allin.
That's him.
It is. But the Blackpool Jazz match just really didn't hit for me.
Yeah.
And then the women's match wasn't great. And though that's it. Right. The battle royal. Oh wait, the battle royal was okay, I guess.
Yeah.
In terms of segments, yeah, Ricky Stark stands out as the best one. Like that was really good. I think Mox cut a solid promo, like not the Regal one. So that was okay. With the Regal stuff, like that was fine, but not my favorite. And then House of Black was pretty good too. I thought Jamie Hayter was actually pretty solid.
That's true. I did like that.
And that was pretty much it. Like, so I think a pretty solid show. Like a couple good matches, but I think considering like if the Jazz one was better, I think it would bump it up because like usually those are solid. So I give it like a B.
Yeah, that's where I was. If the Jazz or the women's or the battle royal was better, then yeah.
If we had a trios match, then
right. And that's gonna wrap that up, I guess. So we'll move into a little bit of trivia now. In a segment that we like to call Off the Top of His Head. All right, so I made this one from various sources this week, sort of in this where I pick a name that's been in the news or has been whatever prominent and build some trivia on them. So this week it's MJF trivia, okay, in honor of his
all right.
winning everything all the time right now. So it starts out with some interesting factoids, and then we'll get into some of his match history in AEW. You definitely will flex your muscle there. So I hadn't heard this before. I feel like you might have. So question number 1. Before he became a famous wrestler, MJF was the test subject for a wrestler's new look makeup as he was about to make the move to NXT, from NXT to main roster. Who was the wrestler that MJF did a makeup test run for?
It was Demon Balor.
It was Demon Balor.
And it was, I specifically remember because I saw it, and it was Demon Balor. Like they tried the paint look for SummerSlam 2016, which was that Demon Balor lead that I wanted forever. And
that's funny.
Took me a while to get.
Oh my god, I remember looking for that everywhere.
It's that look.
Funny.
That's the one MJF did.
I don't know if I knew that one. This one I remembered. MJF also played a security guard in NXT.
For Joe.
Okay, before coming performer. For whom did he guard? You just said that.
Joe.
Samoa Joe. And at which pay-per-view did he appear?
Takeover.
Correct. That's the easy part.
NXT. Toronto?
No. It's a 2.
Brooklyn.
I'll give you that. Brooklyn 2. Yep. True or false? Easy one. 50-50 shot. MJF was offered a contract by WWE before signing with AEW.
True.
It is true.
Sounds right.
He said that he wanted to be a part of something new, was part of his reason for choosing
Doesn't sound
AEW.
kayfabe.
At 5 years old, MJF appeared on a daytime talk show singing. The show was hosted by a woman who was mockingly impersonated on WWE TV in 2007.
Hillary Clinton?
No. Who was the woman? Also the name of the show.
Oh.
Talk show host.
I should know, but I don't.
Feuded with Trump. Was a fake match with fake Trump and fake Rosie O'Donnell.
Oh, okay.
So apparently MJF went on the show and sang a song because he's a singer, right, as a kid and whatnot. Yeah. And then I don't know if it's part of his character or not, but he basically says that he was never compensated for the show. So he says that like Rosie O'Donnell stole money from him, basically. So I imagine that sounds like his character. At one point, MJF was pursuing a career as a professional athlete in which sport?
Football.
Correct. And he now says, again, it's hard to say because he's always in character, right? But he says like he wanted to be in the NFL to make himself more appealing to Vince McMahon. Because, you know, Vince loves like former NFL or... So I don't know if that's true or not.
Reigns, Corbin, Goldberg, Lesnar.
Exactly. MJF's choice to wear a scarf to the ring was inspired by which wrestler?
Alberto Del Rio.
No. Who is one of MJF's all-time favorite wrestlers?
Alberto Del Rio, duh.
No. You don't know that?
How is it not Del Rio?
It's not. Don't think scarf so literally. Think of more like There's a plaid pattern on it, and he's a heel who talks really good.
Real man's man.
No. Classic wrestler from the 80s. One of the great talkers. Had one of the great repeat segments on TV.
Piper.
Correct. Roddy Piper.
Oh, what a loser.
Yeah, so he's sort of an homage to him. MJF was the first man to pin which megastar in AEW
Cody.
after his long-awaited return to wrestling?
Cody.
No.
Jericho.
No.
Sting.
No. How do you not know this? Who returned it was the biggest thing ever from
Punk.
7 years of... Yes, correct.
Ew.
And as he tends to do, MJF cheated to win that match. What specifically did he do to cheat? Do you remember?
The ring.
No.
Kicked him in the dick.
Choked him out with tape. You obviously don't remember.
No.
Okay. MJF was trained by which former WWE and current Impact Wrestling talent?
Eddie Edwards.
No. Most famous
Eric Young.
Most famous for a losing streak in WWE.
Really?
Well, yeah.
Myers.
Correct.
What? Ew.
Myers is good. He's just given a lame
gross.
gimmick. MJF was named in the New York Times Best Performances of 2020 list for which performance in AEW?
Dinner Debonair.
Correct. I didn't know that. MJF found his wrestling feet in which proudly ultra-violent hardcore promotion?
CZW.
Correct. My other hint was same place that gave us.
Moxley and Callahan.
I had Kingston as well.
Oh.
MJF auditioned for which WWE reality show?
Tough Enough.
Correct. Okay, now getting into a brief match histories. Who did he face at Revolution 2020?
Was that Cody?
Correct. Who did he face at Double or Nothing 2020? It's pretty much all baby faces. That helps you.
Okay.
One of the pillars.
Jungle Boy?
Correct.
That's what I thought it was, but I thought that was wrong.
Who did he face at All Out 2020?
Mox.
Correct. Who did he face at Full Gear 2020?
Was that... Wasn't Jericho, was it?
It was
Okay.
Jericho.
Jericho.
Revolution 2021?
Was that him and Jericho versus the Bucks?
Correct. I forgot
that happened, but then I saw that the Bucks 2-pack figures that I was looking at, they were from Revolution, and then I was like, who did they face then?
Yeah.
And
I'd forgotten
I had
that
to
one.
look it up. So
Last one.
I got lucky there.
Who did he face at Double or Nothing 2021? Oh, stumped. It was multi-person. I'll give you that.
Wasn't in the Battle Royal. No, wait.
No.
Stadium Stampede.
Correct. Against?
Inner Circle.
Correct. Very good. All right, so that's going to wrap that up, and we'll move back into talking about more weekly wrestling, like what we liked and didn't like from whatever we watched, and that is Highspots and Restholds. All right, so I'm going to do my usual NXT and Impact, and then you actually can chime in on some Impact too, because you watched.
I wanted to mention
the vast
briefly on
majority.
SmackDown, they had a bunch of angle celebration stuff, and one of the things was, so we'll put as the Resthold to end all Restholds, Jason Jordan. They acknowledged
Yes.
the hit Kurt Angle's son angle, which is angle, but like we really had to bring that back from like 2017.
That's awesome. So is that a high spot or a Resthold? You seem amused by
Resthold to end all Restholds, because
Right.
that's just so stupid.
But
Why
it made you laugh, so.
It did make me laugh.
All right, so let's talk NXT. I think that's it for main roster, right? You said you didn't really catch much this
No,
week.
but
and
I
that's
just wanted to
fine.
mention that because that was stupid.
Okay, so NXT Resthold, for me, it was the wrestling on the show in general. It's kind of a way for me to
What?
condense this down. Honestly, to be fair, they've had really good matches lately, at least one per show. So for this, we got both of the qualifying triple threats for the match. I can
Right,
never
the last spot. Iron Survivor.
Nailed
Jesus, just
it. I got it.
get it right.
I nailed it. Iron Survivor. So both of them were fine. I don't think there was anything anyone needs to go out of their way to see. Axiom ended up winning the men's one.
Pinning Wagner.
And it was a bit strange because Andre Chase like hit a high cross body to Wagner, I think it was, and then rolled out of the ring, like not something that anyone ever does, and is just gone. So that allows Axiom to then follow up with the golden ratio, which looks cool. That like running kick to the face, basically. So yeah, he picks up the win, pinning Wagner there. And in the women's, it was Indy Hartwell won,
Yeah,
which I was a little
saw.
surprised. So she sent Wendy Chu out to the floor after
She
Chu
did that
had hit a
stupid-
splash to Henley,
The stupid like top rope Vader bomb thing.
and then she hit the elbow to the back of Henley's head for the pinfall there. So Neither match was bad, but nothing I wanted to discuss. And then the other matches were D'Angelo's back. He squashed Zion Quinn in less than 2 minutes.
Squash Zion Quinn.
Yes.
Really?
So a
What a
couple
fall from
things out of
grace.
that. One, I think
Didn't they really like him before?
it felt like because they're gonna love his look,
Oh,
right,
yeah.
Quinn? But it's like he's not getting any better. He still seems pretty basic. D'Angelo's coming back, and maybe a little more no nonsense, a little less. I'm
Forget about
hoping
it.
leaning away from the stereotypical gimmick a little bit, but we'll see. Then you had Charlie Dempsey submitted Hank Walker in 4 minutes.
I saw that. It looked really cool. Wasn't Gulak there?
Yes, Gulak showed up for that. You're right.
Let me know if they face off. Like
I don't-
Gulak and Dempsey would be really cool.
But it almost looks like he might be there in like a mentor capacity. There was no hint given, right?
So, but like, I just think that'd be really cool.
Yeah. And Isla Dawn squashed Thea Hale in 3 minutes, and Briggs and Jensen beat Inoue and Blade in 3 minutes. And that match, just to add to the Resthold nature, 3-minute match that had like multiple episodes of interference from all the people at ringside in a 3-minute match. So just the
what can you really get done there then?
Exactly. Nothing really exciting in ring. So overall, a Resthold for me. High spot, and I might be the only one here, is the Ivy Nile and the rest of Diamond Mine. So this week, Julius is backstage getting checked out by the doctor because he needs to get his knee cleared, I think it was. So the doctor's like, yep, you're clear, because they're going to face Indushir, right? And Ivy Nile says, yeah, can you check out his ribs while we're here? Which immediately Julius isn't happy about. And the doctor checks and is like, yeah, there's clearly a bunch of swelling here. I can't clear you. We need to do some imaging.
Right. Yeah, I saw that. But apparently one of the Indushir guys is actually the one injured, so that's why the match is doing. Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting because obviously the Creeds are annoyed with Ivy Nile, and Ivy Nile's like, I'm just looking out for you and trying to take care of you, right? So I don't know if it's like the start of issues with them, and then maybe it turns out not. Like I could see Nile turning heel and being like, yeah, I was messing with you, because I can't see them turning the Creeds heel right now.
You know they were heel for a while, but like
they're
no,
working
right
as
now,
baby faces.
Like, yeah.
Or it's nothing and they're just stalling, right? But I find it was a little bit subtle because even in the ring last week, when they sort of interrupted, she seemed a bit off. So I'm curious to see where they're going. It's not like WWE to be subtle, right? So when they are, I kind of get interested.
That's true. That's so true though.
Sort of a high spot, even though there was a bit of awkwardness within it, is so remember last week, Braun showed up at Apollo's breakfast spot where Apollo sits and journals and eats breakfast. Yeah. So this week, Apollo found out somehow that Braun was out fishing and found him. So Braun takes Apollo fishing for the first time, and obviously there's banter back and forth, and some of it by Apollo was pretty cheesy, but again, not his fault. He doesn't write this crap, right? So the delivery was okay. And of course, each of them are like confident they're gonna win. So because it's babyface, they take little jabs at each other, right? So I thought it was a simple way to have them interact one more time before they have their match. These segments haven't been perfect, but it's NXT doing something a little bit different, right? So I've been totally fine with them. And then the Resthold, I tried to just find the vignette on YouTube to send you. It was scripts back after his debut.
I should try to find that.
So this. So he's cutting like a partially rhyming promo, but like the rhyme scheme is all off and everything is just bad. I mean, he talks about needing to change things up, starting with the chosen ones. I would suggest starting with your overall presentation and the way you speak and your gimmick and everything pretty much. But anyways.
Literally just scrap the whole thing.
Yes. And they still haven't changed his look, so I don't understand.
Really?
This looks like a complete joke. Like, I thought like, man, A-Kid got saddled with a really bad gimmick here as Axiom, but it looks fantastic compared to scripts right now, right? So that's not good. Another Resthold for me was Pretty Deadly doing like reading a Christmas story. So it was like Santa's chairs out there and they're in like Christmas sweaters. A lot of innuendo here again, and another horribly consistent rhyme scheme. I really like Pretty Deadly, but this segment was just really boring and really sort of juvenile, it felt like, right? Which, yes, they can be, but like things about like talking about like their overflowing sacks and stuff like that, just kind of playing that like you're 10 years old stuff.
Right, like,
I don't know.
And you keep going on with that.
Right. So, but it did end up with New Day showing up, right? To again demonstrate that if you're anybody on main roster, you are more important.
I mean, to be fair, it's better than Dolph Ziggler coming out.
You are more important than everybody in NXT. So they're showing up and they're going to face Pretty Deadly at the Deadline pay-per-view, I guess.
Peely.
So yeah, sorry, right. So given weak material here, I like Pretty Deadly, but this was lame. I kind of am still into the Lyra Valkyria vignette, sort of ahead of her arriving. Kind of similar to last week, but it's cool to me. And again, a lot of talk of birds and how she's earned a feather for each match she's won. So I assume she's still going to be presented like her entrance gear is going to be feather dependent, probably, which I don't know. I find her kind of
It's
interesting.
something.
And then a Resthold, the final thing for NXT, the final segment with all of the men's Iron Survivor competitors there, and it's just like
Right, because we were watching. I saw a bit of the women's triple time we were running. It's like that's your main event.
and it's kind of like we can't do a contract signing, so what can we do? It's all 5 of them just like sitting around playing, saying pretty standard stuff. Waller being insulting McDonough's appearance, like taking shots at how big his head is and calling him a garden gnome and stuff, which I thought was almost like a bit over the line because the guy does look like that. There's
Right.
nothing he could do about it. I don't know. And then of course he ended with the standard brawl to end the show with The only thing I noted was Waller did like a flip over the ropes to the pile on the floor while like live streaming it on his phone.
Yeah.
Which I
like
thought,
Logan Paul did.
right, which I thought was kind of funny. So but yeah, just like a similar feel to a contract signing, but with more people, and wasn't like groundbreaking or interesting to me. Then we'll move into Impact, which you watched a lot. I even went back and showed you the opening segment to follow up last week's death, like literal murder of Eric Young. So you got to see the highlights of that. And then it was Diener cutting a promo as the new leader of the remaining group, which is called The Design, I guess. Because the idea was Eric Young is the designer, and this is what he's designed, and they're going to carry on going forward. I really like this. I like the look of it. I thought Diener spoke really well. I thought, most importantly to me, he felt different from...
I don't know. A lot of the lines he said felt kind of silly to me.
He felt different from the Eric Young underling. I kind of liked it. A lot of it was focused on Sami Callihan and his last match with Eric Young. He's kind of the one that took Eric out, and Diener was saying that Sami cut the head off of the snake but didn't realize that 3 heads had grown back, kind of thing.
Hail Hydra, cut off 1 head, 2 shall take its place.
And I don't mean, because it's not like I don't like this guy, but really, really enjoying it until the lights kind of come up, because it was all shot dark and spooky-ish, right?
Yeah.
And one of the people standing with him is Alan Angels. And it
it kills it.
It honestly takes me out of it, and I don't want to be rude, but this guy is...
He looks too nice.
I guess he's trying to, like you were saying, like be menacing, smiling guy, but he just looks like a nice guy who's smiling as part of this cult group.
He just looks happy.
Like Khan fits the bill. We'll talk about the match he has later, but
I watched that.
Angels just doesn't fit here, right? So I really like this segment. You didn't really like it that much.
It was okay, but like, I don't know.
I thought it was cool, and they're kind of making Diener interesting here. But anyways, then we get to a Resthold for me, the opening tag title match. It was Machine Guns versus
I thought that was next week.
So it is back next week, because this one was just starting to pick up and it ended in no contest. It was Heath and Rhino, by the way, sorry.
Yes.
Because Major Brothers show up and attack everybody, so that's how it kind of got pushed, I guess. But weird thing for me in this was the Machine Guns were pretty much working heel, especially, I thought, Alex Shelley. They were attacking legs. They were using like all of the 5 count. Shelley was arguing with the referee at certain points, right?
Because you love Heath and Rhino.
So I think that's the point, right? That we're trying to make the fans care about Heath and Rhino, but I don't, and I don't know if many people do, right? So it was like, I don't know, it was a weird choice to try and have the Machine Guns generate that for Heath and Rhino, because it didn't work for me.
Could have just done an actual heel team, maybe it would be more effective.
Yeah, and then the match is starting to get okay, and it's over due to interference.
Like, put them against the major players again, I guess.
Right. I don't know if they're going to go triple threat now or where it's going, but anyways. Another Resthold for me was, and I think you watched some of this, Taya Valkyrie and Savannah Evans.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I saw a bit of the finish.
So the thing for me is they're trying to put off Evans, bring her across as this, like, monster, right? Like, powerhouse. But she and Taya are the same size.
Yeah.
So it's basically, but no mention of that for Taya Valkyrie, even though she looks just as powerful as Evans. So it was just slow, right? And pretty basic stuff. And we've said this before, but Taya's, I don't think she's good.
She's not great.
There was a point where she was really good, came to NXT, and we were like, she looks really slow and really not good.
Yeah.
And
I don't know
It's
what happened.
almost like Impact has noticed that because they definitely have not pushed her at the level
Because
when she was
was
last
like
there.
a huge knockouts champion, right?
And
Like,
the Reina de Reinas, wasn't she like two
yeah,
belts
she
at the same
dropped that
time?
to. But did she win it or drop it to Prazo or
I
both?
can't remember. But yeah, she was, and we thought she was really good. And
I used to like her a lot.
it's been now a long time of her not looking really good. So unfortunate. But yeah, the match wasn't good. High spot. You saw this too. I really like the vignette for Bay and Austin, highlighting them in the
The Super Junior Tag League.
right. So just some cool highlights and stuff, and it slick put together nicely, and it honestly made me want to go and check out some of this tournament. Right.
Yeah,
And
that's why. That's what made me kind of bring it up. Was like it looks pretty good.
I like Bay and Austin a lot. I just wish they weren't part of Bullet Club because I don't think there's no added value there for me for that. But anyways, Resthold, you also watched Sammy Callahan. First of all, Sammy Callahan losing after 6 minutes was pretty surprising. But how did Khan look to you?
Eh,
Right, like slow and limited. I would
worse
be,
than main roster.
and he's been wrestling forever, so it's not like maybe he's got potential because he's a big guy with a cool look. Like this is what you're gonna get. And I was saying in the moment when we were watching it, right? Like Callahan's a guy that'll let you do whatever.
Right,
If
if
you
you
want to look
can.
cool, do it. But
Right.
I don't think Khan can. So I was not impressed. And then you saw this too. I thought it was a rest hold. What were your impressions of the Trey Miguel as a heel who spray paint stuff?
Eh. I actually saw the vignette on Instagram too. It was not great.
Like
It's okay.
he doesn't work for me as a heel.
And why is he all of a sudden a heel?
And when they force him to act, I don't think he does a good job, and we're back to him having to do some acting.
Why is he?
I don't know where that switch was flipped, and I've been watching mostly regularly, so I don't know what I
That's
missed.
weird.
But so yeah, he's spray painted the belt now, and he was spray painted an opponent, and it
Jason Hotch,
looked like he was about to spray paint Gia here almost.
which like okay,
But Crazy Steve shows up from behind the couch, right? So
I don't know. It was kind of weird. I saw like one of his promos on like Instagram. Like it was some promo before this. Like not the
Trey
same
as
one,
heel
but-
doesn't work for me, both in his speaking and in his offense, right? Because that's not heel offense
Yeah.
at all. So I don't know what they're doing. Anyways, and then the high spot was the only other thing on the show. It was Josh Alexander kind of open challenge, and Mike Bailey comes out, and this is like about halfway through the show, and I'm like, oh cool, this would be a cool match if they give it some time, right?
Yep.
And then
Yep.
it goes. I'm like, man, I'm shocked at how much time they're giving this. I think I said that before it had reached half an hour. So this thing went an hour, right?
Oh yeah, like just under because they barely beat the time limit.
And it's funny because initially when it started, not knowing it was going to be an hour-long match, I was like, why is Josh Alexander working so slow? And why is he just like Johnny
Right.
Johnny Strikes a lot? Because normally he's like suplexes and holds and cool stuff. So it kind of made sense. And this match ended up being fantastic. I mean, the criticism of an hour-long match will always be, did it need to be an hour?
And how do you pace it, right?
Right.
Like,
But I thought this was phenomenal.
Bailey came out looking really strong.
Lots of highlights, right? You had the Bailey's flipping double knees a couple times. The one move where Alexander was holding him on the apron and Alexander dropped to the floor, and
yeah.
that looked awesome.
Like kind of like a World's Strongest Slam kind of deal, like just like the front slam kind of thing.
The one where Alexander like pulled him off the ropes directly into a pile driver.
Oh yeah,
sick.
that was really cool.
And then the two C4s that it took to win it. From like even from an angle where you can see his head contacting the mat, it still looked awesome. So I don't understand how they do it without actually killing him. But obviously lots of Bailey high flying and rapid kicks and martial arts and all that stuff. This match was incredible. I just had no clue that it was going to be an
I was
hour
like
long.
almost like too much, but it was really good. It's
Yeah.
just like I was amazed that it went an hour because it's just like it was so random.
And I think it's smart because this is the type of stuff that will get them a little bit of attention, right? It wasn't announced ahead of time. There was no build to it. But now there's the buzz of these two guys put up, because I've looked and people were like between 4 and 5 stars for this match, right? Which
yeah.
I would agree. For me, it's probably like 4.5 if I had to give it a star rating. It was
Yes.
fantastic. Like this is no doubt a pay-per-view quality match on a television show. So this is the one you go out of your way to find this week, in my opinion. So I'm super happy for Mike Bailey. I didn't understand why they took the X Division title off him. He was having an awesome run, defending all the time, awesome
If
matches.
he's going this long with Alexander, who stands a chance against him?
And so hopefully this is elevating Mike Bailey, right? I don't know how you get back around to this because they are both baby faces, but And that's the other thing. Alexander was working a bit heel, I thought, right?
At times, yeah.
Which I think the idea is he's so pissed off at Bully Ray right now
Gotta
because he's
take it out on
attacking his
someone.
family that he's not thinking straight and taking it out on Bailey. Fantastic match. Go check it out if you haven't. I don't know if you're not somebody that can watch an hour-long match. Don't go check it out, I guess. But I thought it was awesome. All right, that was the end of my high spots and Restholds. So we're now going to move into previewing a couple shows that are happening today, and that is Ring of Honor Final Battle and then NXT Deadline. So we'll do that now, and I'll throw in a little bit of music right about here. All right, so why don't you start us out with our Ring of Honor Final Battle? Gives me a break. Well, I'll sip some water, and then I'll take the deadline, and we'll record these, and maybe remember to go back and talk about who wins and loses in the picks. So go ahead. You can start with Final Battle whenever you're ready.
So for the 0 hour, we have 3 matches. First off, guaranteed match of the night: Kingdom versus Top Flight.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna.
I'm taking Kingdom. I don't want to.
I'm gonna take Kingdom because Matt Taven.
I just feel like my rationale, I guess, would
Top
be
Flight aren't really doing anything. I mean, to be fair, Kingdom haven't really done anything, but like.
And in theory, ROH is about to launch whatever their TV presence
Kingdom.
is, and I think they would probably have Kingdom there and want them to be able to say when the show starts, like they just picked up a big win at blah blah blah, right? And again, Top Flight is just sort of getting back together, so I am firmly taking.
I think
Kingdom.
it's kind of get a showcase in there.
Exactly.
Willow versus Trish Adora. I'm probably gonna go with Willow. Like Trish hasn't really been around.
That's interesting. That could be cool, but yeah, I will take Willow too, just because I don't know the status.
She's been on AEW, and then I feel like she might be in ROH. Like Trish might be too, but she hasn't been like.
She was in the ROH Women's Tournament, right? And I thought she looked
like,
pretty good there.
Willow's also been like,
That's what I mean.
around,
Willow,
right?
I know for sure is signed and has a bunch of matches under her belt. Adora, I don't know, is she signed? I haven't heard. So I will take the established talent. Not that Adora is not good.
Then we have 2.0 versus Shinobi Shadow Squad, which who's that again? I feel like it's Cheeseburger and someone, right? I don't know why.
Sorry, who's versus them?
2.0, I think.
It's the Shinobi Shadow Squad. I'm looking it up for us because I forget. I think you're right. Cheeseburger.
Was it?
Eli Isom.
I thought it was Isom.
And Ryan Nova?
I'm going to go Cheeseburger and Isom, but like.
Whoever the third is, who are you taking in this?
2.0, I guess.
Yeah, I think you kind of have to. I don't see why they need a win.
Just throw it together stuff for the pre-show.
Right, exactly. So that's a quick
main card, Martinez versus Athena for the still existing ROH Women's World Championship.
See, this one I don't think is easy. Because if you wanted to keep the title on Mercedes Martinez, why? Like, where has she been? Why have you not mentioned her? So that leads me to believe, like, they're going to take it off of her. But are you going to... Don't you want to
stick it on Athena?
Right. And again, if you're starting a Ring of Honor
I would have put
show,
it on Deeb.
Me too.
Which they already missed their chance.
So I don't know. This one's harder.
I'm
for me
thinking
to pick.
Martinez because I feel like Athena's more AEW. Martinez can kind of, if they do get a TV deal, then Martinez can have some prominence. Yeah. I don't see Athena being relegated to ROH.
I don't either.
Is the deal. So I'm gonna take Martinez.
I will too. I think the same thing.
I see what you're saying, and I think there is kind of a debate there, but
where has she been, right? And if you actually care about her as champion, you have not shown it for months. But I agree. I don't think Athena's the one to do it. So
it should have been Deeb.
I'll take Mercedes.
It's like Dalsoga keeps saying it should have been me, but I'll just keep saying it should have been Deeb.
Yeah, right. Should be Deeb.
Yeah. And Shane Taylor Promotions, which is Taylor and JD Griffey.
I don't know who that is, and I watch a lot of obscure wrestling.
It's like Slim J, like
JD
versus Strickland and Keith Lee.
Googling him right now.
All right, who?
I don't know. I'm gonna look and see if I know this person. Does not ring a bell to me. JD Griffey.
I don't know. He's clearly got some history with like Shane Taylor and maybe Keith Lee.
Yeah. Sorry. Who are they facing?
Swerve in Our Glory.
Oh wow.
Swerve in Our Glory.
Yeah, Swerve in Our Glory. I would love to pick Shane Taylor because I'm a Shane Taylor fan. He just looks different. Like his body type is very different, and his forearms are super. Him and Brody King have the best forearms in the business. I think. I quite enjoy Shane Taylor, and he's pretty sick on the mic actually too. So I would love to say he's gonna win, but they're not gonna win. Yawn. Keeping you up?
Yeah. Dalton Castle and the Boys versus Cage in the Gates of Agony for the 6-man tag titles.
Huh.
I'm actually kind of stuck, but
I'm gonna.
kind of feel Embassy here.
I'm taking Cage.
I agree. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling Embassy.
I think they've decided he's an ROH guy. I think if you're
And it kind
sort
of
of
helps boost them a bit.
if you're rebooting the company on TV sort of thing, they look. I don't know.
I
It's
don't know
more of
why
a serious thing, right?
I'm
The
kind of
Dalton
feeling
Castle and
Embassy.
the boys are kind of like a comedy thing, and I don't know if they want to open their show having comedy champions.
Cage is sweet, so
And Cage is cool, so
I don't know. I don't know why.
Who-
Yeah, I agree.
who-
I'm feeling Embassy.
yep, I'll take Embassy. Who should he drill claw? Everyone is the answer. All three of them.
Oh, he could totally drill claw the boys. That'd be
He could drill
sick.
claw both of them at once, possibly.
Double drill claw.
Yeah.
Just like have them on either side and then just put them
The
in the middle.
ultimate goal is a drill claw. That way we're all winners. Doesn't matter who
Exactly.
actually
We're
wins.
all winners.
Right.
Unless they kill someone. Actually, no, they win too, because that's a good way to go.
Have we picked any different ones so far? Are we all the same? So I can't help it. We're going with what we think.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Samoa Joe versus Juice Robinson for the TV title, because Juice is definitely going to win that. Right?
That's Samoa Joe, I
It's
think. Yeah.
Joe. As much as I love Juice, I think he'll just have a good match there, and then,
I think so too, right? And he can go to AEW and do whatever, and Joe can focus on Ring of Honor and be a monster there, hopefully.
Yuta Garcia.
That is a good match, and that's a little tougher to pick. What are you saying? What's your rationale?
I don't know. I'm slightly leaning towards Yuta, because my rationale, I feel like Claudio should win the world title, because you can't keep doing this feud. You just can't.
Right.
And I think Yuta makes more sense if you're going with your whole rationale of to lead the show when it starts. Garcia's kind of got his foot in the camp of this Jazz thing, and I don't think you should have that starting on Ring of Honor, because Jazz is just not Ring of Honor.
And Yuta has a history
and
there.
Yuta
a recent history
makes
there.
more sense for that.
Right.
So that being said, I'm taking Yuta.
I will not just to be different, but I'll take Garcia. I think they might want to keep a little bit of that sports entertainment kicking around, and that's their way of doing just a little bit. So the match should be cool. I'm going to say Garcia, but I won't be surprised at all if you're right. So I'll take Garcia.
FTR Briscoes double dog collar. FTR.
I think FTR needs a win back. I think they're actually with the company, right? What's the status of the Briscoes right now?
I don't even know what they do.
So I'll take FTR.
I know they're not signed.
Right? So that leads me, that's further sort of leaning me towards.
I want FTR to keep having a bunch of different belts.
Right.
Then Claudio versus Jericho, which is probably.
So I know you think there's a title change coming.
I kind of think so. We have to end this.
We do. And
I don't know.
You know I want it to end.
I don't know what you do if Jericho wins. And honestly, I don't think he should be
but then there's
a
part
top
of me
Ring
that
of Honor
goes,
when the show starts, though.
Part of me goes, clearly Tony Khan knows the value of Jericho because he was their first champion and got them all kinds of attention. Part of me goes, they're going to have him be the first champion when Ring of Honor reboots too, for that same reason. He will draw some. Now you're starting to. I should have locked you in first, because he knows that brings like what are the type of fans, I don't know the word I'm looking for, that know him, right? And might go, okay, Jericho's headlining Ring of Honor now. I'll check it out.
But
So
then what do you do with this whole? How do you end this?
So maybe they move that all over to Ring of Honor, and hopefully it's. I don't know. I'll take Jericho just for that reason, and I'm not trying to convince you to take him. I'm trying to convince me to not take Claudio, right? And so I think it's
I'm gonna stick to my guns.
That's the star power.
We've got the two differentiations here.
All right.
I'm all in on Blackpool here.
Okay. And that's all of them?
Yes, sir.
All right. So now we'll take a look at NXT Deadline.
Yay.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matches on this card, so this shouldn't take long. I tried to put them in the order I expect of importance, kind of thing. So Isla Dawn, Alba Fire.
Oh,
right?
Really?
Yep.
That's what we get instead of a women's title match. Oh, okay. Well, I'm.
My picks are locked in on this one. I don't think you're going to talk me out of all of these. Actually, I don't think you're going to talk me out of any of them. I'm pretty confident.
Let's see. Well, I'm kind of torn because Isla Dawn's new, right? But,
correct.
But Alba Fire's just taken a couple losses to Mandy Rose.
She has.
It's an interesting choice.
I'm not going to say anything.
I think
you
okay, that's fair. I might ask you like later, but like for this one, I'll just Okay, so I'll take Alba Fire. I feel like she kind of needs to get something back for getting screwed. You know what I mean?
Nice.
As I don't watch.
I
but-
took Dawn, and
Okay.
only because I think Dawn needs wins and Fire has been
Right.
losing.
I was really torn here.
I think
but
this might be Fire's on her way
Mhm.
out.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like,
That's true.
put someone over on your way out.
Ooh, yeah, that's true. I'll keep it. That's fine.
All right, cool. Pretty Deadly defending the NXT Tag Team Championships against the New Day.
I don't know. They keep hyping the Triple Crown for New Day.
You're right.
And
This one I'm less
Who's-
confident on. I'm
who's
more
beating Pretty Deadly?
right.
And last time a
also-
main roster guy came and right into a title feud was Ziggler.
And there's always a possibility there's people like Pretty Deadly are ready to move too. They are not ring technicians by any means, but their act is good enough for main roster now, and their wrestling's good enough.
I'm gonna take a gamble on New Day. I think,
Okay.
and then what are they doing right now? You
That's
know?
good. I took Pretty Deadly, so that's fun.
Okay.
Just because probably because I don't like the idea of main roster people coming back and monopolizing time in a developmental. Like, you're telling me this is developmental. so
At the
stop doing
same
this.
time, I could see New Day being a good team to elevate some people.
That is true.
Because New Day, like,
Work good matches.
love them or hate
and-
them, they're great. So I don't know. I could see a benefit to that.
All right, I like it.
It's better than Ziggler.
We have agreed
I'll
on
say.
nothing so far, so that's good.
I like that. That's interesting.
It is. Then we have women's Iron Survivor match. So Zoe
Okay.
Stark, Cora
Yeah.
Jade, Kiana James. Obviously, I'll just write her in.
Okay, yeah, obviously. Kenna
Rox-
James, easy.
Roxanne Perez and Indy Hartwell.
Okay, so just out of curiosity, what are you feeling for this?
So what I'm doing is looking at, we have a heel champion that's
Okay.
been there forever.
Right,
We have a believable babyface challenger in Perez.
right.
So I'm thinking not Stark, she just turned heel. Not Kiana James, she's got a ridiculous
she's-
gimmick and she's not that good.
I don't even watch
She's
it, but
fine.
she feels too low card for this.
I
Like,
thought
you
they
know,
were
she kind
gonna-
of feels beneath it.
I thought they were going to start leaning into how silly the whole I'm a business, but they're kind of
No?
playing it
Okay.
straight still.
Right.
And Indy Hartwell, who's a heel-ish, or she's either like now
She's in
more
like a weird
aggressive-
nebulous.
now more aggressive than ever, or a heel. So I think this is they've been building this storyline for Perez to be the big babyface champion, and that
Is anyone else a face in this really, or no? Right.
Rose has had a crazy long run and is just spinning her tires at this point and doesn't need to be down here anymore. I'm
Mhm.
not saying she's going to leave, but I think this is where she loses. So I'm Perez strongly.
I think that's fair. I think like I don't really know why you'd want to heal, so I'll go with Perez.
right?
For
So you
sure.
get a title shot. Is it going to be Stark Rose? No. Is it going to be Cora Jade Rose? I don't think so.
Mm-mm.
Like, it's all heels, right? So I don't know if they're telegraphing because they could do anything, obviously. But so you're taking Perez as
I
well.
agree. That is a fair pick.
I feel strongly about that one. The men's Iron Survivor Challenge.
Carmelo
so-
Hayes.
I know, right?
Hayes. It's Hayes.
It has to be.
I really want it to be Devlin because I love Devlin, but he
He's
lost
just
twice.
had-
Exactly.
correct.
It has to be Hayes. This
And-
is how you get him his shot.
And I think so. I'm obviously exposing my pick for the next match too, but I think Hayes is the one to beat Breaker.
Yes,
And
agreed.
then I think Breaker.
I think it has to be.
You know what I
Hayes.
thought about last night, and I think would be an awesome faction, and
Mm.
it doesn't matter that they haven't been related at this point, is Breaker, Creeds, and Ivy Nile.
I could
as
see.
just
I could see that.
like
Like a powerhouse faction.
Yeah.
I could see that.
he's your main eventer, they're your tag team, whatever.
That could be a good act.
and
To,
then Future, like,
and that could also put over Indusher on the way out because
And-
that's kind of their feud.
and Slow Burn would be Julius is eventually gonna feud with Breaker for like the
I
supremacy
kind
of
of like that.
group, right?
I don't hate that.
Anyways, so yeah, I'm taking Hayes either. I don't think again it's McDonough because
as much as I love him,
he's been in that scene and unsuccessful. There's that he's tainted a little bit as much as I don't like to say it.
at least for now, right?
Waller's I don't think quite there.
No.
Casey no.
No,
Axiom he's gonna be awesome, but
he's not up there because Axiom I hate that
you
gimmick.
can't have that gimmick challenging
No.
for your main belt.
It's easy Hayes.
So
And
then
Hayes
it-
is the only one that's been truly ready for that.
So then obviously I'm taking Breaker in
Yeah, it's
Breaker
Breaker.
Cruz.
I don't see it being Cruz.
I don't think Cruz is the guy. I think he's looked good.
I so don't care about that match.
That's not so. Yeah, I think that it has to be Hayes Breaker. That's a money match to me, and Hayes wins, and then Breaker. bye-bye.
I'm actually excited for that a little bit. I like Hayes.
Me too. I love Carmelo. Carmelo Hayes is a star. I want him to.
Credit where credit's
the
due. They
NXT
actually kind of
champion
did
and
something
run
out of
with
the
it.
whole 2.0 crop. He probably comes out the
However,
best, other
he
than
was
Breaker.
pre 2.0 barely.
A little bit, yes, but
So
like
you
he
can't give 2.0
he kind of
credit.
came out to prominence though,
Yes.
and like other than the breakout tournament, which to be fair, that kind of sucked.
So that's good. We have 3 the same but 2 different. So there's enough to sort of have a clear winner
Which
there.
is the same on the. We only have 2 different on the Ring of Honor as well.
Perfect. There's a chance then. So
There's a chance it could just tie though.
we could for sure. But yeah, I think you said there was nothing for figuring it out this week.
Nah.
So I think we're pretty much reached the end of episode 125, which is awesome. We're in our sweet spot, I like, of under 2 hours, but over an hour and a half. So I think we will call it an episode. I don't think we'll be doing any bonus episodes. We haven't done one in forever, unless like Ring of Honor really grabs us or Deadline grabs us or something.
Considering I can't even be bothered to do one for AEW.
Right.
What are their chances?
It'll probably be a turbo review on episode 126.
Yeah, at least for one of them.
Which we'll be back for next Saturday, so we hope to see you all back then. We did get a few more comments than usual on the podcast, so thanks to those of you who left a comment. I did reply to all of you. Look forward to hearing from any of you plus more. So thanks for taking any time out of your week to listen to us talk about wrestling. We'll see you next week for episode 126. And until then, take care.